like to be fancy. I bet you can hear me now, though, can't you? I know you can. Ooh. Pong, can you do a check mic 1, 2 for me?
Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Live on Living Splitscreen.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, at least you are backstage. And again, I'll do a little bit of an intro there. Good morning, guys. How y'all feeling? Talk to us. Getting some things, last minute things set up here before we get ramped up into the show and everything. Kind of chopping it up backstage, dealing with some tech stuff, and also just life. I mean, how's your guys' week been? Figured I'd go live and get the chat involved already. As you see, I'm adjusting my mic to get it nice, close, and personal.
Your mic or your camera?
My camera. Sorry, whatever. But it's that morning already.
Shit.
Lucky I didn't stay up and play Vampire Survivors, which is because I was gonna get some gameplay last night, but I didn't want to get trapped into a loop for 4 hours.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
never good to hit crack that late.
Nah, I'm about 100% sure. I was not willing to throw it all the way for Vampire Survivors last.
I saw Jasper's already getting sweaty though.
He is getting sweaty, but again, he's doing the exact same thing that I did.
Yeah,
that's why I sent you videos and shit. I was feeling real good. I only fucked up because I was trying to take pictures. But when you figure out that there's just more and more to the game.
There's Jasper. He said I stayed up all night.
See, it does that, dog. Like you get so caught up in it, man. Perfect Shogun said he's playing some Splatoon. Hey, Shogun, nice to see you in here, man. I feel like it's been a minute since I had you here, bro. Nice to see you, man.
Yeah,
we gotta get some gaming in, man. I feel like we ain't gaming in a minute. Me and Shogun, we get together. I don't know if we just play well off of each other, whatever the case may be, but we just get in there as the slaughter fools, man. And no matter what game that we're playing. And so it's always a good time with Shogun, man. Shout out to you, man. Hopefully everything is going well for you, my guy. Only on Xbox says Steel Ray with a fresh beard lineup. Do I really? Fresh? This is about a week old. I'll be real with you guys. But you know, good G's tend to carry over good looks. So hopefully that's carrying over into the show. I appreciate you guys, man. Sifo, what's going on? How you feeling today? Hello's Ray, how you doing? Isaac Gentry, he's still on a high from Wakanda Forever. Isaac, man, tell you what, Wakanda Forever was an extremely powerful movie. I don't know if it's because I've had kids. Why? Because I mean, I've always been around kids my entire life, right? But I don't know if it's because I've had kids where emotional scenes just hit me harder now than ever before. I don't know. You can relate to that, Pong, where it's just like before. Is that what it is? Maybe.
That is what it is, baby.
I guess so. But either way, there was a lot of tearjerker moments in there, even for somebody that I don't genuinely know like that, right? In Chadwick. But I can recognize he was a good actor. He seemed like a great guy, for what I can tell, and what he did for the character in Black Panther, for the Marvel Universe, and just as a cultural representative, you know what I mean? He did a lot of powerful things, and the way I think they definitely did him justice, while also, and again, this isn't a spoiler or anything, but while still trying to continue that legacy, and it's going to be interesting to see how they carry that over. So,
there's no way to never know a human being through and through, right? Unless you are really close to that person, right. And we do that all the time with celebrities. We think we know somebody, and then stuff comes out, and you're like, oh, damn, really?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But, and again, me not being the Marvel guy, not being MCU, whatever, but just from a human standpoint,
right.
The minute I heard that Chadwick Boseman had cancer and did the entire movie without telling anybody.
Well, the fact that he had been not necessarily hiding it, but only a select few people knew.
Only a select few people knew it, and he kept it, and nobody knew anything was wrong.
That is insane.
That tells me a lot about his character, man. That tells me a lot about his character right there at the end.
Because a lot of people, especially nowadays, would make sure that it's televised, that everybody knows that, you want to get you a little bit out as you go. And for a man and that's why I kind of hold him up to that regard, at least for what I know of him, the research that I've done on him and everything. it's just like, bro, there's no way you go through that type of pain. You know that it's knocking on your door, and you still come in, handle business, and continue to act like a rock star. That's the other thing too. Like, he was a rock star till to the end, and that's crazy, bro. Much respect, much love. Again, if you guys haven't seen Wakanda Forever, if you like the first Black Panther, I would definitely suggest Namor. For a character that I did not care about, knew nothing of, my God, did the character sell this role?
Yeah, and I saw King David's post yesterday too, and he's been a Namor fan forever because Namor goes way back.
Right, he goes back.
But Namor was never like this. When you think of all the different characters, like Namor is not one that comes up in conversation. But obviously, King was a huge Namor fan. So to see the love on his face for what they did with Namor, man, they must have done something.
Yeah, it was perfect there. I don't know if it's the way that Marvel carefully casts their characters, or maybe we're just coming up in an era where we just have a lot more talent around. But there's like, you find these key people, and the guy that plays that role, man, he sells it so well, and it becomes it's like he became another iconic character, or even like a villain, because he's not necessarily a villain, but it's like, now I want a movie kind of focused on what he kind of brings to the table, because he sold it as the character, and I feel like that's so impactful, so powerful. And shout out to please remind me, Batman, Pong, please.
The voice actor?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I don't know his name.
Kevin Conroy.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, it was right there.
I was just scrolling my feed and it was right there.
It was right there on the top of my mind, and he's kind of went back, and that's always why Batman has stuck out to me. But he's another perfect example of someone who made a character so iconic that nobody else could imagine Batman with any other voice, and it's hard to hear Batman with any other voice other than Kevin Conroy's. And shout out to him, shout out to his family and everything for his passing. 66, man. We're losing a lot of people here recently, man, within the last decade at a really early age, bro.
Godspeed.
I don't know if you guys have been noticing this, but look, man, look to the person next to you, look to the people that you care for, hold them, make sure people, you reach out to people, and you never know what's going on. And yeah, man, just keep your heads up. But that is, I don't want to get you guys too down to get you involved too much with any movies and things before I get into spoilers, because I really enjoyed that yesterday. When I saw that with the family, so that was a good time. The girls really loved it. So, when the little girls love it and the wife loves it, they did something.
Has Stuff Sean jump in here yet? I haven't seen.
Did Stuff Sean jump in here? I don't think Stuff. I don't think I've seen.
Man, I just saw him post. Maybe he's too busy setting up.
What do you say?
Got a hell of a deal, man. PS4 Pro and like 8 games for £50.
Oh wow, yeah, that is a hell of a steal.
Yeah,
like you could technically go play God of War Ragnarok right now too.
Yeah, he wouldn't picked up. He was just getting the PS4 Pro according to his post, right, for £50, which still was a hell of a
that's still a fucking deal. Yeah,
and the person was like, "Oh, here, you might as well just take these because I don't have any use for them," and gave him a stack of games, like 8 games, including God of War, all the good ones, right? God of War 2018, all of them. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, that's a leg. Yeah, that's definitely. If anything, you could definitely make a little pretty penny off of that too, for sure. Yeah. Tim says he lost his little brother this year. He was 43. Condolences, man, Tim. That's what I'm saying, man. Life is crazy. The world is crazy. The people that we've lost, especially musicians and such, man.
Yeah, sorry, Tim.
Sorry to you, man. Again, like I say, much love, much energy, much prayer goes out to everyone. That's why I say that on a week-to-week basis in my videos, because that's how I feel. And I try to send out as much energy, and as much prayer, and as much, no matter what you believe in, prayer still works. Sending positive energy still works, at least in my belief. Even if they don't believe in it, at least whatever that they do tap into, will at some point help guide them and everything else. So at least that's the idea that I kind of live by, and everyone else. Hopefully you guys have had a pretty solid week, and if not, hopefully we can make it a little bit better here with Living Splitscreen, episode 80. And I do want to kind of set the stage because, I mean, what
shout out to Boom, by the way, for dropping in here. Decado, I see you too, but Boom, Mr. Boomstick, great to see you in here. Masshole, again, Laura hanging out with us. Jasper, Talus, Ray, all of you, great people. Awful Grim Bones, great to see you. Live Supremacy, I see you. Thank you for dropping in here this morning. But
shout out to you guys. Let's get into episode 80 so we can get it to the audio listeners. I am going to try to do some things differently because I do want to get our visibility up, and that's just going to require me to put in a little bit more effort. But I'm going to try to see if I could do a little bit smarter. We can call us Living Splitscreen, TikTok, and all of that. I'm going to start getting that ramped up. So just be on the lookout because I definitely need to start really hammering this reach out because, again, I believe in what we do here. And again, if anybody else, you believe in what you do, just doing live shows isn't going to be enough, unfortunately. And for some of us, it is.
Yogi, legend. Good to see you.
Yogi, what's going on? But yeah, just some things on the pipeline, man. We got some big dreams, big goals. And again, me and Pong don't say we want to do this for hours on the day just because, man. This is passionate conversation. Again, we talked about it last night, and I'll talk about it again as we get into the show. There's so much more to the conversation than just what I care about. I care about the overall picture.
Do this.
Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you're ready.
John Wolf, Jesse Darby, thanks for dropping in. Go live.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning and welcome to episode 80 of Living Splitscreen. And look, man, it's been an interesting week. I know it may have been light for some people, but there have been some interesting conversations that have been happening on the gaming streets, and I think overall social media. Want to start off by saying first, condolences to the late, great Kevin Conroy, as we know, Batman, and also condolences to anybody else that has lost anybody here at any point. Much love, much prayer, much energy sent your way. I want to start it off that way because, look, man, life's important. You guys got to remember that it's the other side of the picture, and I know that gaming is one side of it for sure, but that's our passion, but, you know, don't forget about the human element. With that being said, I hope you guys are locked in. I hope you guys are ready for one of the most live, raw, and uncut shows on YouTube currently. And that's right here with Living Splitscreen, where we're giving you that real-time strategy. That's right. That's that RTS view. And if you don't know what that is, maybe you're new. Maybe you haven't gamed in a while. Maybe you're young. I don't know. But you're pulling yourself out of the world, looking at the darker crevices of the map, pulling those resources together to build up your base, your foundation, to eventually, hopefully, reach those 3 billion gamers, people that Phil Spencer speaks to all the time, because that should be the goal, right? The more we can expand our ecosystem, the better it is for us overall. I am one of your hosts, Steel Rain. Steel Rain, the T is a 7. Everywhere, guaranteed. Look, guys, I put it in the search bar and it works. I'm telling you, I ain't got to lie to you. But I have to introduce one of the most uncanny gentlemen, not only on YouTube, on Twitter, but also is just a brother from another to me. And he's the X-Men who is not Cyclops, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you guys have made one for him yet. We need to get a graphic designer on it. And no, Pong can't be Iceman. I know he might have a little favoritism on that side. Got a little look there for him. But my brother from another, what's going on, Pong? So how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, Steel. It is no longer 11/11/22. For anybody who didn't catch Xbox Ultimate last night, I got out my sadness, my disappointment that I wasn't playing Starfield. This should be day 2 of Starfield. I should be coming in here dead tired, talking about how God Howard has created another generational type game, but I'm not. But we are past 11/11/22, so I should not see any more posts about how today should be the day we should be blasting off into the stars and exploring another amazing Western RPG sandbox from Bethesda. So it is a better day today, Steel, already. And of course, I'm here with you, my brother from another, and we got to talk last night on Xbox Ultimate because you jumped into Xbox Ultimate last night. So, but yeah, no, Steel, busy week as always. Great. Didn't have a lot of time. I've been actually jumping into another TV series.
I think I heard you talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Which one was it again?
Black Sails.
Okay.
Black Sails. I jumped into Black Sails. I know. Welcome to 2022, Pong. It's only been, that's. I think it's.
I don't even know what that is. So shout out.
It started in 2014 and went for 4 seasons, okay. I think. So, Black Sails is pirate. Did you ever watch Deadwood?
No.
Okay. All right. So back then, Deadwood came out, and I watched a bit of Deadwood. I didn't watch the whole series, but Deadwood was obviously Western, brutal, just flagrant sex, just just the times, right? Just nonstop. That's what the times were. Well, Black Sails is like that, but set pirate times. So you get the same thing. You get the brutality of the times, along with just extravagant sex and fucking whatever. Just it's everywhere. Like it's everything. But Black Sails, again, just like Deadwood, for anybody who did watch Deadwood, plot lines and casting are ridiculously good. So I've been doing that because, again, it's easier for me to turn off a TV show than it is gaming. I've had to make that switch in my head. So that's what I was doing for most of the week. But then I did max out too. I got in a couple games. I only jumped in for a little bit and got a couple games of Modern Warfare 2 in to max out.
Okay.
To level 55. I did do that.
A lot of people aren't there, so.
I know. But we put in a lot of hours last weekend too. So
yeah, we had a good time. We had a good time.
We were rocking out.
I'm loving it. So.
I'm loving it. Again, it's awesome. And then a little game called Vampire Survivors came out. And man, oh man, I've been talking about this for a while here. I brought it up to you like I think like 2 months ago, maybe something like that. When I had first seen it, we were talking about a vampire game and upcoming games, and I said, "Is that the one that everybody's playing?" And we never knew it was going to come to console because it was PC only, but everybody's been streaming this over on PC. It's got huge reviews. It's like $3 on Steam or $5 on Steam or something stupid. It's a bit game. But then they got announced, and we talked about it last weekend, Steel, that it was coming to Game Pass. And I got super pumped for it because everybody that I've heard talk about this game, like the one word is addictive. That's like the one word that everybody said. And like, I'm like, everybody's saying the same damn thing. There's something to it. Like I said, when there's a majority of people saying something about a game, there's something to it. Not that it's going to hit the same way for me. I gotta try it.
I was going to say, because people say that a lot about, what's the shooter that's like Call of Duty on PC? Why am I just at a loss for words and thought right now, man?
Today? Which one? CSGO?
Yeah, CSGO. There you go. Counter-Strike. I was thinking about the whole name, not just CS. But yeah, no, Counter-Strike Go, it can be the same thing can be said about that. A lot of people are addicted to that, and a lot of people love it. And just here recently, oh no, it's Alex. I know a lot of people don't love him. He could be a divisive person. I think he's hilarious.
I think he's amazing.
Again, you wanna know what true satire is. I think he's good, man. He definitely gives a good master class on it. But nonetheless, he posted a picture here recently, or a video or something like that, of an event here recently of an auditorium filled with people watching a CSGO tournament. So it's just like, it's not for me, but goddamn, do a lot of people still fucking love that shit.
Exactly. No, it's a great point. And Vampire Survivors, I popped that in the other night, and I'm lucky I could turn it off. Like it's one of those games for anybody who doesn't know. And 100%. If you've been listening to, if you watch Xbox Ultimate last night, we had a whole segment on this game too as well. This game is special. They've done something. Now you can look at it and dismiss it and say it's been done before. You can look at it and you can say this is too simple. There's no way it's that good. Plenty of people are doing that in the community right now for a variety of reasons. Of course, the circus is out here claiming that, this is more fodder for Game Pass, that this is garbage while they're playing God of War. Xbox are only playing Vampire Survivors, a game that's 30 years old by the looks of it, yada yada yada. There's a lot of that. You can go ahead and look at this game and just say, nah, there's no way there's anything to this game. Let me tell you something. This is one of those games, Steel, that we've talked about here plenty of times because I have my games that come along and do this. When you distill video gaming down to its core, again, as how it started out, we didn't have graphics back in the day on the Atari 2600.
Right.
We had lines, we had squares. We didn't even have like round balls. Pong was a square, okay? We didn't have anything, but we still had fun. That's what happens when you distill video games down to its essence, to its core, is you find fun. And Vampire Survivors is pure fun. That's what it is. And yet, when you get into it and you get the loop, and all of a sudden, it becomes just one more time, just one more run, just one more run, just one more run, just one more run. And like Mav did the other night, he started at about 11 o'clock. His Steam Deck ran out of power. His battery went off. He had to get up for work, and he didn't realize what time it actually was. He looked at the clock and was like, okay, I guess it's time to go to bed. Oh, it's 4:15
It's
in
late
the
as
morning.
hell.
It's 4:15 in the morning. I didn't realize I just played for 5 hours. That's what video games are supposed to be about. Now, plenty of different genres, there's all different experiences you're going to have. Not every game's going to do that. But when you find a game that at its core is just about having fun and driving that hit, that dopamine hit on each and every one, you got to appreciate it, Steel. And for this little studio that came out of nowhere to make this game, that probably just a passion project. Again, I don't even know how many people were on the studio, but they probably all just had this idea, like, we can make this game, and this could be our starting point for something bigger. Well, guess what? You hit it.
Right.
You hit it. You hit the jackpot here. Because, again, there's something about this game, Steel, that just makes you want to do one more run. For anybody who hasn't played it yet, please go check it out. If you've got game, again, it's like $5 to purchase it. We're not even talking about a $10 game. We're talking about a $5 game. But if you have Game Pass, download it. Takes up no room in your hard drive, hardly at all. But for anybody who hasn't yet, think the atmosphere of Castlevania. Basically, they just took old school Castlevania,
yep,
and then add Gauntlet, add up any kind of shmup or bullet hell, whatever you want to call the old shoot 'em ups, add that in there, mix them all together, and this is what you get with a roguelike. Okay? Because every time you run, you're getting more powerful. Every time you run, you can buy up your power-ups.
Right.
So your character can get more powerful. Oh, by the way, did I mention that there's 40 characters to unlock, each with individual starting powers?
That's what got me.
Just how you play the game.
That's
so anybody out there claiming that there's no strategy to this game, listen, the first thing when you hop in, you're going to notice I don't even have to push a button to shoot. It just automatically does it. I thought it was a twin stick shooter when I first jumped in.
I did too. It almost threw me off. It almost made me put the game down.
Yeah, I was like, wait, all I got to do is move my character. Wow, this is simple as hell. But there is strategy. There's a lot. The mobs increase as time goes on. There's goals that you want to hit time-wise for each level. There's everything that you want in a video game is here in a special, very unique package. And as we talked about last night, Steel, and I'll let you add to this and talk about what you've been doing this week, because I know you've been playing more than just Vampire Hunters. But as we talked about Vampire Survivors. Jesus. Even the name is generic. It's just old school. This is old school. Look, Vampire Survivors. But listen, they've taken the roguelike genre in a new direction. This will not be the only game that comes out like this. This is going to be a copycat game that everybody tries to jump on. Okay. And we're going to see a lot of these. And there's a lot of different ways you could take it. I think it's fantastic. I don't care if there's a bunch of people out here making games like this, because I think there's a lot of different ideas that people could incorporate the same kind of aspect to and make it. I can't wait to see what comes out of this. We need these types of games. This game should be up for Game of the Year in indie categories for sure, in all the different awards. I hope it gets a couple of them because I think it is deserving of that. No matter how you want to dismiss it, I still think it's deserving of that. Because again, what the game is meant to do, it's a masterclass. It's a masterclass in the loop. It's a masterclass in giving you that feeling that every single run could be the next big run for you. And yes, it's been done before. Roguelites have been around before.
Yeah.
But this does it a little bit different and just enough to say it's making its own type of game out of it. And I think that that's what makes it really cool. But anybody out there who hasn't tried it yet, please go do so. Again, even if it's not for you, that's cool. That's cool. I'm just saying, give it a chance. Don't dismiss it because of the graphics. Don't dismiss it because it's simple. Something special to this game. Outside of that, Steel, that's been my week. Of course, Marvel Snap, because it's always on my phone. It's with me at all times.
It's easy.
And Marvel Snap, another game that it's not new. It's not groundbreaking. But they did it right. But they did it right. It's a masterclass. They did it exactly the way it should be. No money involved unless you want to. It's really, really that good. So, Steel, what have you been going on this week besides?
Man, well, I want to start off with, wow, what a day to think that games could just be games and it's a problem. That's the biggest takeaway that I've gotten through this week. But, and I'll get into that in here in a second, but what have I been into this week? Man, it definitely has been a lot of Vampire Survivors. Again, this is a game that just kind of come off the heels of Pong. This is a game that I wasn't looking to take serious. I had no thoughts of, and I was like, this is going to be whatever. I'll try it and see what happens. I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit of a story, how this started for me and how it almost turned me all the way off before I got into it. So what ended up happening is me and Pong talked about Vampire Survivors last Saturday or whatever, and I said then that I was going to probably try it out. Yeah. So time comes, because it's on PC Game Pass, and I get into the Xbox app. I go to download it and everything. Man, it's a super small game, takes up no space. I said this last night on Xbox Ultimate that this is literally a game that needs to be everywhere. This could be the next big mobile phone game, 100%. Right up there with Candy Crush, everything else, because it's easily just to get into a run, especially since you can pause it. I can imagine like you back out of this app, automatically pauses, you go handle business, come back to it, pick up your run. This is literally one of those games. And yes, the game is super simple. And yes, this game is literally Hades, but much more simpler. Like, I say simpler, but at the same time, there's underlying mechanics that just kind of open themselves up to you unknowingly. But let me start with my story. So the game was free on PC Game Pass, and I downloaded it, small game. I go to download it, and I end up opening the game. Open the game doesn't open. Did this about 10 times, deleted the game about 10 times, reinstalled it about 10 times. Wouldn't open. Don't know why. It just wouldn't work. My other games would, but this game just wouldn't work for whatever reason. I tried to do some back-end workarounds, whatever.
It was a sign steal. You weren't supposed to.
I guess.
The addiction was coming.
yeah, but it didn't want me to play it. So I was like, oh my God, here we go. I was like, yeah, I'm just not going to fucking play this game, man. Whatever. Then I looked at the price. Then I pulled it up on Steam, and I saw it was on Steam, and I looked at the price, and I was like, it's on sale right now. It's a $5 game? Standard? It's on sale for what? It was like $2.99. It was like $2.99. I was like, $3? Man, okay, I spent that on fucking Snickers bar. So I went ahead and bought it on Steam. Again, mind you, I didn't play the game for free. I ended up buying it. Not knowing, and I still haven't played this game, don't know what the experience is like. I saw a couple of videos and I was like, I'll try it. But for $3, it's one of those things where it's like, am I really going to talk myself out of this, or is this really just worth a try? Right? So it's one of those things. it's like renting a movie for $1 or going to like a Red Box, right? And just watching that movie for the night, bringing it back. That's kind of how my thought was on it. And I started playing the game. The first match I played, it's like, okay, I see what we're going. I see what we're doing here. And then I died. Things were slow. I was like, oh, the game's kind of slow. I don't know how I feel about it. Went to the second match. And I don't know what clicked, or maybe it was just the game wanting to pull me in. I'm telling you, man, there's something else behind this game, because this game like learns its users for whatever reason. That's how I feel, at least. There's some internal AI in this game or something, because it's fucking crazy. But the second match, I basically beat the board. It's the grass level, the first board that you do. I get to level 100, basically, 30 minutes in. And I got a fucking flow of abilities. I have no clue what all these synergies I got going on. No clue. I just feel like a god, just slamming through shit, just killing shit. And then I don't know where I just get killed by a Reaper. That threw me for a loop. I was like, what the fuck did I just get killed by? I was fine. I was murdering everything. What killed me? And come to find out, it was a Reaper. With a little bit of research, and I was like, oh, well. And I think that's what started not necessarily the addiction, but the gameplay loop, right? Because it gets to a point to where you start recognizing, I think after that run, the other thing that opened it up to me also was the fact that I unlocked more characters. I didn't even know the game had more characters. Yeah. I was just playing with the characters that they had. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I got to level these guys up, and these are going to be the guys I got. Then I got more people. And then I got more boards. And then played this second level, and I unlocked the turbo mode for it. Like, turbo mode? Then I play the turbo mode, and it's fast, and it's like, what the fuck is going on in this game? Needless to say, I've sunk already over 10 hours into the game easily. On and off, because I have also been playing Sonic Frontiers, again, which has been a game that has been praised by the user base more so than the critics, which is extremely awesome to see, at least for me personally, as a Sonic fan, to see this game get its just due, to see that the movies really raised the hype meter for Sonic, and that the game was able to live up to it. I still haven't beat Sonic Frontiers yet. Again, Vampire Survivors is one of those things to where, because of how time has kind of been for me this week, I've been wanting to play Sonic Frontiers, but then I end up playing Vampire Survivors. You know what I mean? Because I can stop it, go do something, come back, and continue to run. But it's not good because I haven't got any gameplay of it, because it's literally been that. I can't play for a long enough time to really get it in. So, but anyway, that's been mostly what I've been into this week. I did jump back into Halo. I don't know if I talked about that last Saturday.
No,
I think because that happened this week, I think.
Yeah, the winter update happened this week, so you didn't talk about that.
Okay, perfect. So I jumped into Halo. Halo definitely is feeling better than it ever has before. I heard Mav speak on this a little bit, but there is some back end. The desync issues don't seem to be as prevalent nearly as much anymore. And again, the desync only really became a problem if you were at such a level of a player, because that's when it becomes extremely noticeable. When you're just playing to play, it's not that big of a deal. Forge was a fucking good time. I'm not a Forge player. I'm the first guy to say I'm not going to be one collecting maps. Now I probably will, just because I have a lot of nostalgia that's riding, especially playing the maps that I did with the Fun Speculation fam. We played a lot of good classic maps that people have made, and a lot of people have made a lot of good maps since, and it's doing exactly what I anticipated to do. I know Mav's a little bit more down on it, saying that, because the server browser's not there, that it's going to be a little bit of a downer. To me, though, because typically, at least to my memory, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Halo's ever had a custom server browser like Battlefield does. I don't ever recall that being the case. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't play custom games that often, or had not played custom games that often. The last time I did was Halo 2, and then again I did it with when I jumped into the community with the Fun Speculation family and everything. That's when I really started playing custom games again. So I just might be a little bit ignorant of those facts. So Jasper says MCC has it. So okay, but again, MCC is a collection of games though. So it's like I can see a server browser being in there, just like Battlefield does it. But Battlefield has always had a server browser, so it's kind of a little bit different. So that's what I kind of mean. Or like Gears of War had the same thing. But I do think that having a custom server browser is going to do a lot of justice for the game. But on the backside of that, because of what Forge is doing, because of the nostalgia, because of how many Halo fans that there are, I think this is breathing life back into custom matches and back into people becoming a community again. Because more and more, I'm seeing people trying to get together to play on these maps. Right? There's whole Discords that are started now. There's whole channels that have been started now. There's whole communities that are being built now that I've seen because of this. Right? And if that's the case, this is only going to get progressively better because people aren't going to stop making maps. The biggest issue before, like the people who were making maps for Forge, is that they couldn't save their maps. Now you can save everything. And the Forge is still in beta, ladies and gentlemen, and we're getting the quality and style of maps that we're getting. It is insane. It is insanity to me. Shout out to 343. Again, you feel however you want to feel about Halo. I do think it's in a good spot. Again, it's right. Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, and Halo, and Destiny. You got to do Destiny in there too. Best shooters right now. If you're looking for a first-person shooter to play, can't go wrong with those. But that's been me. Vampire Survivors is definitely an addiction. Love that game. And I'll lead into this a little bit, and then we'll get into the upcoming games and everything. The main thing that kind of bothers me about Vampire Survivors is the way that people make it come across like it's not a game, or it's not justified as a game, or there are videos of people out there who are saying that, oh, this shits on game developers. Oh, you can make a simple ass game, and oh, this if you make this something that what the people want, oh, now you're going to degrade gaming. You're making it worse. You're not making it better. And like I introduced the show, or introduced my little section there when Pong introduced me. This game is doing what games are supposed to be. Being a game. My biggest problem with Ragnarok or with God of War is that I don't play games to play movies. I'm not saying that that's the majority of the game or it doesn't have gameplay elements to it. I'm not saying that it's not a good game. I'm not saying that Vampire Survivors is a better game. But they are different types of games. And using them as PlayStation got God of War, but Xbox got Vampire Survivors, they're both games. I see a lot more people playing Vampire Survivors than I do playing God of War. Again, it's not a negative against God of War. But Sir, God of War isn't going to be for everybody. I'm not playing it right now. And God of War is selling better than 2018 did. So obviously it doesn't matter. Why can't it all be successful? Why can't it all be equal? Why can't it all just be good games? Why does it have to be, all of a sudden, now it's a problem that people make a game that's actually a game people can enjoy. It's not simplistic like people. This is another example of a game that people didn't play. You saw the 8-bit style. You saw the simplicity of the gameplay. Said, oh, you played it for, like the one guy that I watched that was saying that it was ruining gaming. Got to level 27, had a trash-ass build, and was complaining about the game. But didn't want to learn how to play the game. To get better at it. I thought that's why you played games. Wasn't that the purpose? Gaming isn't, and not everybody's professional. Not everybody's going to be good. Everybody's here to have a good time. Everybody's here to experience a different art form. You don't always have to go to a museum to appreciate art. I could pop in God of War in 2018 and say, damn, this is art. And enjoy it, start to finish. Have I? No, I can't get past 4 hours into the game. That's me. And that's okay. But I don't have to say the game's trash because I don't like it. And that's the point. You don't have to like it. We don't have to like it. Somebody does. I don't like Fortnite, the Fortnite build mode. But you know what Fortnite did? Dropped no build. And guess what I did? Played. I can't complain now. I can just play the game or not. I thought that's why we're in the community. I thought that's why we were trying to build up our ecosystem. I thought that's why me and Pong were doing this, why people come to YouTube to talk to other people so that we can reach out and really have a conversation and discuss and maybe get together and game and we can all jump in a party and talk about Vampire Survivors. I could tell you that, hey man, I played for another 3 hours and I got a map. Pong's like, a fucking map? What? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what this is supposed to be about.
Fortunately not, Steel.
Unfortunately not, but that's why we're here. That's why we have the people that we have around us. That's why you have the Fun Speculation fam. That's why you have people like Random Jazz. That's why you got people the Iron Lords. That's why you got Living Splitscreen here. That's why you get the content that you get. That's why you get it for as long as you get it. That's why we don't try to come across bias. That's why we're non-console centric. That's why I give it to you live, raw, and uncut. Because I have not seen that in this industry since I've started gaming. And I want to be a main proponent, and Pong wants to be a main proponent of why this industry continues to be successful. Strauss Zelnick himself has said, make great games, games will come. The people will come. 20 years of growth, still to be expected. This industry is in its infancy. I feel like I'm preaching. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't want to get on a soapbox, but this entire week has left me in this tangent space where I just wanted to kind of express myself to you guys, see how you feel, because again, Vampire Survivors is an example. And again, I know a lot of people start riding that game's dick. It's not great. We got God of War, and it's a cinematic experience, man. And it's the best thing I've ever played, man. Tell me why I can't get through 2018 then. Tell me why I can't get through Horizon, Zero Dawn. Tell me why people can't get through Forbidden West, but they'll spend hours in Vampire Survivors. Either way, Pong.
You already know, Steel. You already know, Steel. You already know.
What do you
got to like what I like, Steel. You have to be what I define you as to be a gamer. You have to fit into a certain mold, Steel. Otherwise, you aren't worthy to be calling yourself a gamer. That's what it is, Steel. That's what it is. These people like to box everybody up into one or two different places and say that, label you like a moving box and say gamer, not gamer. Hardcore, casual. Right? That's what people like to do. People can't stand the fact that people, because again, it's always been there, but it's more prevalent now than it has been in a long time. Because of social media, the tribalism is real. Tribalism is one of those things that happens, and people they can't have you not be in one of two spots. You have to be in one of those two spots. If you're floating out here, oh, you're fake. You're fake neutral. I mean, again, all this stuff. And I'm not saying that that's what people always say, but what I'm saying is that that's how people handle a situation when they look at somebody and they can't place you somewhere. And they say, wait, no, you got to be one of these two things. You have to be one of these two things for me to be able to understand. For how my brain works, I got to have you in one of these two boxes. That's not how life works. That's not how life works. And that's what Steel and I are out here trying to tell people. The gamer's a gamer's
That's
a
been
gamer.
The problem.
Again, we heard this nonsense, Steel, years ago when mobile gaming started to take off, and everybody's like, oh, it's going to be the death of gaming. I still don't consider myself a mobile gamer to this day, but I'm playing Marvel Snap. Genshin Impact is played by millions of people. But I still see God of War Ragnarok being made. I still see Starfield being made.
Yep.
It does not destroy the industry.
It helps. Actually,
it helps because it brings more people in. Because again, I don't have to be in a certain box. I can be floating around everywhere. Again, there's plenty of people out here who tell me that I'm not a real gamer because I don't finish enough games, because I don't have platinums or 1,000 out of 1,000 gamer scores on enough
But you can
games.
speak on games better than most people could ever imagine.
Right? I might not be able to give you a full review breakdown of a certain individual game, but because I'm a grazer, because I graze a lot of games, I can experience a lot of different things, and I can give you general impressions about a lot of different games versus somebody who only plays AAA games, home run games, only plays PlayStation first party games, only plays Xbox first party games.
Right.
I can give you a breadth of different knowledge when it comes to all these types of games that are out here because I try so many of them.
Right.
Right. So it's just different. But again, I don't look at the people that only play AAA games differently. I don't look at the people that play Call of Duty and Madden every single year and that's all they do differently. They're all gamers. They're still gamers. I don't look at the people that, like Steel brought up, CSGO. I don't look at the people that still are playing CSGO to this day, which are obviously a lot of people. I don't look at those people and say, oh man, you're not a real gamer because you're not playing the latest and greatest out here. You guys are you're just CSGO players. Like, no, man. No. That's not what gaming is about.
Yeah.
Gaming never has been about that. It should never have gotten to that point where we have these people within this community. And again, it's a minority.
Yeah.
The circus is small out here. But the fact that we still have people out here that think that they get to define me, like, again, I'm too old. You're never going to define me. I don't care.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, label me. Go ahead.
There's billions of people in the world. Do you really think I care about what you think? No. Like, come on.
No. Unfortunately, there is younger people within reason, of course. Right. Yeah. But there are younger people and there are people that are affected by that. And I hate seeing it, that people out here try to shut down conversations that instantaneously, because somebody's posting screenshots or game clips of Vampire Survivors, instantly people jumping all over it, going, talking trash about the game without ever playing it, just because they think God of War Ragnarok is the pinnacle of gaming right now. And it's like, yeah, but do you realize not everybody agrees with you? Again, I tried to play God of War 2018 too. I did. I played it. And I said, it's a good game. And I'm not going to deny anybody who says it was game of last generation. I'm not going to deny that at all. I can see why people love it. But did it draw me in? No. Does that mean that I'm somehow wrong? Or I'm somehow not a gamer just because God of War 2018 didn't talk to me like that? Just because Spider-Man didn't hook me like that? No, not at all. It's just difference. It's just a different opinion. This nonsense that goes on, Steel, every time we see this is crazy to me. And again, I know some of it is all an act. People are not who they really are on Twitter.
Oh no, it's all for semantics. It's all funny. It's all
it's all
I don't
for
like
attention.
I don't like that.
It's just, again, that's why Steel and I started the show, and we said from the beginning, live, raw, and uncut. This is who we are. That we're not faking anything on here. This is actually who we are. Again, you jump into a live party, you listen, you watch one of Mav's streams, this is who we are.
You get a little more raunchy.
Course, especially for me, the pirate in me comes out.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I tone it down Pong. Here. You definitely got to be pirate Pong.
I tone it down, but yeah, no, I hate the fact that when a game comes along like Vampire Survivors, it is dismissed. If it's not for you, that's cool. I'm not telling you have to like this game. Never do that. I never do that to people whatsoever. But the fact that you want to get on social media and dismiss or attack others for liking it, or try to, somehow downplay the fact that it's on Xbox and not on your favorite piece of plastic, that shit's when it gets ridiculous. And that's when I'm just like, well, who are you? Why do you do this? How can you not understand human beings are all different? We're all going to have different fun. We're going to have all different experiences. We're going to have different perceptions on things. And it makes nobody less than just because it's different than you. Like I said, I don't think less than of somebody if they think that God of War Ragnarok is the ultimate experience, even if I wouldn't agree with them, and I can't say anything because I haven't played it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would never think less of that person just because that wasn't my favorite game. Like, who would I be? Like, how can I be that judge of when somebody's having fun and when somebody's not having fun? And his claim that people are being fake in their like for Vampire Survivors? Come on, man. Come on. That again, it's all disingenuous, Steel. It's all disingenuous, and I hate it. And I think that there needs to be. That's why we're here to balance. We're here to balance out the side of the force with just being able to speak on a variety of games that we enjoy, no matter what other people want to say. And that's why Steele and I do promote the games we do. That's why we try to promote indie games that we see out here pushing boundaries. That's why we do all of that, is because there is a greater experience to have. You don't have to. You can lock yourself down. You can enjoy what you enjoy, but there's a greater experience out here. And there's a lot more that people should be trying or at least know about to decide if they should try it or not. And that's what we're here.
Right.
So
100%.
All that nonsense, Steel.
100%. And again, everybody's going to have their own opinion. Again, there's billions of people around the world. It's not just about the thousands that one person got or this other person got. There's billions of people around the world, and that's what we're trying to reach. And it's not about one fan base or other fan base, because for both fan bases, all fan bases do it. Not just PlayStation, not just
Absolutely
Xbox,
not.
It's not just Nintendo, it's not just whoever. They all do it. Apple.
It depends what's released.
Yeah.
And this week it was Vampire Survivors and God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then next week it's going to be when Pentiment drops, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. Pentiment's going to drop next week as the only first party Microsoft game this year.
It's not a game.
Pentiment's going to drop, and we're going to see the screenshots of God of War Ragnarok versus Pentiment, and it's going to fire up again. That's just how we going to do this. So, whatever.
I love it when people dance for me. That's so sexy. Anyway, I think that rant was a good point for us. Hopefully, I can get some clips in there. I might have to post some of that. But I think that was a good way to introduce the show. And again, we are going to be a little bit cutting the show a little bit here because I know Pong was got a triple header today. But I think that was a powerful way to at least start the show. And we'll get into some things here after we get into these upcoming games, ladies and gentlemen, because we do have, again, Pong mentioned one of them. And then we also mentioned Call of Duty Warzone 2.0, which is also an interesting thing with the size of that game. And I think from what I've read and what I've seen, it's the size of Warzone itself. 2.0 is 115 gigabytes. I do hope that it's tied in with something else that I can delete once it all gets installed. But from what I've read, this was saying that Warzone 2.0 by itself is 115 gigabytes. Insanity.
Yeah.
But neither here or there. Let's get into these upcoming games, Pong.
Yeah, let's get into the upcoming
Are you
games.
ready?
I'm ready, sir. I'm scrolling down here. So
let's get into it. Oh, I got a fair.
We got a good week this week, too. On top of Call of Duty's Season 1, Warzone 2, and all that kind of stuff. We do have a good week for smaller games this week as well. So this is going to be a fun week, and it's nonstop. When you game the way I do, or enjoy as many games and genres as I do, it's nonstop right now. It's insane. Like I have so many games to get to, and this week I'm going to add some more. So let's get down to business. It's going to be the week of November the 14th already. Steel dropping on in here. So we're going to start off with PC getting Floodland on November 15th. This is developed by Vile Monarch, published by Ravenscourt. It is a new simulation game. PC always has new simulations games.
Yeah.
Gotta appreciate it. Then coming, of course, as we just talked about, Steel, also November the 15th, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC. That's right. We are getting a first-party title from Xbox this year. We are doing that, folks. And it's coming by the way of Josh Scheuer from Obsidian in a small team. This is a passion project of Josh Sawyer that we've been hearing about for a long time. Now, what I'm going to say, folks, do not dismiss this game either. please, if you're on Xbox, if you have Game Pass, download this game. Everything that I've been hearing, everything we've been hearing, Steel, from a lot of different people behind the scenes who have already got hands-on with this. It started at the, which game show was it? Where they had, it wasn't Tokyo Game Show. It was the other one. What was it? Anyways, people started getting their hands on with this game and said it's totally different than what you think it is. It is a great game. So Pentiment is coming. It's finally dropping this week. So be ready for that. I just heard Alana Pierce last night. I watched her video yesterday. She does short news of the week kind of videos as well. She hinted that she's playing Pentiment in the background and enjoying the hell out of it. She said, I'm going to be able to talk more about it next week. But Pentiment is dropping. So again, go check it out. I can't wait to touch this game and see what it's like. I think it's going to be deeper than what people think. Graphics are going to turn some people off. That's fine. Course. Whatever. Sure. I'm still interested in the puzzles. I'm still interested in the narrative. I want to see how Josh wraps all this up. But Pentiment coming November 15th. Then we got Smurfs Kart coming to Switch. Got another kart racer coming, Steel, to Switch. You gonna jump on Smurfs Kart?
I'm not.
Smurf on?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not at least in the slightly interested in this one. Unfortunately.
Sure. Yeah. Why? You could probably play as Gargamel.
You know, as enticing as that sounds, I'll be all right. I'll be quite all right.
Smurfs Kart, Switch November 15th. And then on top of Pentiment, we got another game dropping into Game Pass on November 15th as well. And this is one that a lot of people have been waiting on, Steel. Another indie title. Okay. This is from the former developers of Inside, of course. Huge. This is Somerville. And Somerville is what we got a release date 2 weeks ago out of the blue. Oh, by the way, it's dropping November 15th. We've been waiting on this game. A lot of people have been. Not everybody. But Somerville is going to be another big one. So you're getting Somerville and Pentiment both dropping in the Game Pass same day. My God, this is going to be awesome. I've been waiting on Somerville. Love Inside. This is going to be a good game by the looks of it. Can't wait to see that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge finally dropping on the PlayStation 5, Steel. Getting that 5. Wow. Yeah, November 15th as well. Obviously, we had a good time with that when it first dropped. Again, nostalgia. There's just something about it, right? And there was a lot of nostalgia to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Sure. Didn't have long legs, of course, being what it is.
It's one of those games to where if you don't have continuous content for it, especially nowadays, people are going to fall off of it, man. Yeah, you're going to have that initial experience. People are going to love it. And again, it was a great game. We had an awesome time with it. Yeah. But because once you beat the game, that's kind of it. I would love to see games like this have more people get behind them when they get that type of success, right? Which is why I get excited when teams go over to Xbox or they go to any company and they're allowed to be given their vision or whatever they would like to do. Because I do think that, and I don't know, just because we haven't heard anything, that if they would have had some more support, maybe they could have had some more content come out. We did hear from them that a lot of work did go into making the sprites and everything that they made for this game. There was a lot of attention to detail that took them a long time to get work down that they didn't necessarily have to do, but it made a difference, right? And it was a huge difference maker. I loved it, start to finish. It was an amazing experience with the guys, but it's like, we need maps. This game almost got a 9, ladies and gentlemen. Like, it's one of those. Hopefully it gets that another boost on PlayStation 5. And then we get some, hopefully an announcement of some kind.
Something.
That'd be dope.
All right. And then we've got Ys 8. There it is. Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. Now, this game, Ys, for anybody who doesn't know, and shout out to Dragonheart Yo because he always corrects me when lies, but whatever. That's the way I always used to pronounce it when I was young. This is a franchise that has been around for a very long time. Right. And it is a very good RPG franchise. Unfortunately, it is published by NIS, and NIS is like actually worse than Square Enix. It's one of the holdouts in the East that are not putting games on Xbox. And they do the Disgaea series, which I've been clamoring for nonstop. NIS has got to get off of this. Hey, we're not throwing stuff on Xbox. Hopefully, Phil and Sarah have been talking to that group over there because they got a lot of great games. And this series is a great RPG series. Lacrimosa of Dana came out long ago. It's been out since 2017 on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita. Went to PC and Switch in 2018. Went to Stadia in 2021. Well, they're doing PlayStation 5 version. So I'm assuming it's getting some upgrades, and that is coming out this week. So if you got a PlayStation 5, you're looking for a classic JRPG style game, go check this out. Again, you won't go wrong with Ys. It's not going to ever be like considered up there with the Final Fantasies or anything like that, even the old school Final Fantasies. But this series is fantastic. It's got great characters, great story. And I always recommend that people go check it out because it's fun. You don't have to know the originals to jump into new ones. So just go check it out if you're looking for something like that. Of course, we already talked about Call of Duty Warzone 2.0.
Yes, sir.
Starting this week. Season 1 is dropping. Steele and I are going to be all over this with the Fun Speculation fam for sure. Again, we can't say enough about Modern Warfare 2. Maybe we'll touch on it a little bit. Word is coming out. Certain parts of the world, this game is already close to outselling Vanguard in 2 weeks, which is absolutely insane to think about. Modern Warfare 2 is the real deal. So don't let the naysayers out there tell you it's not. The majority of people are saying that this game is one of the best Call of Duties. I don't know, already.
Pong. There's people that are out there, and I don't know if they're doing it because they're funny, but the ones that I've seen seem like they're doing it to be honest. And there's a lot of people who are really amped up off this game on how they're not having a good time with it. They're getting, thousands of views among thousands of views. There was this one guy that I saw really popular within the Call of Duty community. He got like over 30K views, He's just expressing his opinion. He's not having a good time with it and doesn't like anything that they're presenting. And he's been a Call of Duty fan since the beginning. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I guess that's when you start seeing some of the differences, right? Because me, as someone who's taken a break from Call of Duty, maybe because I have taken a break, I have a different appreciation for it. And I can actually see the changes, right? And can...
But you even hopped into Cold War with me a bunch, too. We played a lot of Cold War. You and I did for a while there. Okay. You jumped back in. You downloaded. You jumped back in with me. But what I'm saying, Steele, is you haven't been completely gone. So it's not like, oh, this is just like a fret. Like, oh my God, I haven't played Call of Duty in 10 years, and oh my God, this is great. Like you've experienced some of the other ones in between as well, right? And so you can tell the differences. Again, Call of Duty's too big. It's just like anything. It's like Halo. It's like you're never going to make the entire community.
No, it's definitely at that point for sure. It definitely 100%. Is 100% at that point. And again, I like a lot of the things that between multiplayer and Warzone is doing. Warzone is going to have a third person mode.
That's what I'm saying. 2.0.
That's fucking crazy.
I had zero interest in Warzone. Bro. We played a couple matches in the original Warzone. It was fine, but it was nothing. But Warzone 2.0. It's got me interested, man. The way that Modern Warfare 2 is playing, it's got me interested, man. I might want to jump in.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a really good time, man. And again, I mean, I mentioned third-person mode of Call of Duty, like, oh, people like Fortnite. It's like, no, this game is still Call of Duty at the end of the day. Like, Fortnite is Fortnite. Call of Duty, whether you go first person or third person, it's still Call of Duty. It's going to feel the same and shoot the same. It's a little bit different because you have more vision and everything. But and like Lord Master Jasper says, and the DMZ mode drops on the 16th also. Yes. I think that's probably going to be the mode that we're probably going to be in and out of for sure. Yes. As a team, because I don't think everybody's going to favor Warzone. I think Warzone is going to be where we get the sweat. Because let's be honest, the unfortunate thing about Warzone, and they did do something different, which I don't know if I like or not. It depends on how the community takes it. But when you get into these games, you get into battle royales, man, not everybody enjoys waiting when they die. That shit can get kind of old quick for some people. But they did involve a new mechanic this time in the Gulag to where it's going to be a 2v2 environment. Again, I don't like that idea because you're giving me somebody that's probably not going to be great. That's how it always works for me. Yeah.
Steele, just come out and say it. You're giving me a Pong.
No, because
it's going to be horrible. Yeah,
not even that. Because not even that. Because Pong downplays himself, and then he'll have a bunch of fucking kills and be at the top of the leaderboard. And then wonder how he got there. So don't let Pong surprise you.
Pure
let
luck.
Pong surprise
Every
you.
dog has his day.
But no, so it's going to be a 2v2 environment, and then there's like this, there's an AI in the middle that if both teams kill, like if you guys get together and kill this AI, everybody gets out.
Right.
Now, who's going to do that versus just killing each other? I don't know, but we got a lot of prominent people saying, hey, man, because I don't necessarily like that mechanic, because I do like, the original mechanic with the Gulag was it was a 1v1. We both have the same weapons, and it's either who's better. I like that in Warzone. But again, I also come from a different school of gaming, so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. It would be funny if it kind of backfires on the devs, or maybe that's what they want. They want people to work together, so there's more people out in the map. I don't know.
More people on the map continuing. Yeah, this is more fun. But DMZ also is going to be a very, very interesting.
Yeah,
we'll see how it plays, but that could actually become like the new.
Lady Foz, you hit the freaking nail on the head. Third person is fun in Warzone is going to be better than PUBG could ever be. Woo. Yo, that is a fucking statement. And PUBG dropped a huge opportunity, especially with Fortnite just taking over there. Maybe it's just unfortunate because Fortnite came in and did it better. Now Call of Duty is going to have a chance to do it better. I'm sorry, guys. Well, I'm not sorry because I don't care, but Call of Duty is a better feeling game than PUBG will ever be. First or third person. Shit, if Battlefield did a first person, that would be better than what PUBG. It just gives you perspective.
And yeah, Doom, they are killing Warzone 1.
Are they officially killing it, or I thought it was staying on last gen? Because Warzone 2.0 isn't going to be last gen. It's only for current gen.
Are you sure?
I thought that's what the case was. I could be wrong at that. I thought I could be wrong.
I thought they were retiring the map and it was over with. But if anybody remembers in there, because I remember the original rumors were still that it was going to be current gen. There's
going to be current gen only.
I think they changed. You can check it out too. So then we've got Goat Simulator. And I'm doing air quotes for anybody listening from the audio side of things. Goat Simulator 3, which is actually Goat Simulator 2, but that's part of the Goat Simulator shtick, is that they're just skipping 2 and going directly to 3. If you like Goat Simulator, listen. I flew around Goat Simulator originally on PlayStation. It is what it is. It's fun. But if you like Goat Simulator, guess what? You're just getting more and bigger in everything about this game. If you've watched some of the videos that they've dropped from Goat Simulator 3, it looks insane. So everybody knows what you're going to get out of Goat Simulator, but this is number 3, which is technically number 2, coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. So this is current gen only Goat Simulator, by the way. That's coming November 17th. And then Steel. I know this one.
Just to answer the question real quick, 2.0 will not shut down the original Warzone.
Will not. Okay. All right, cool. Okay.
Because I think they're also what they're going to do with that, because they made that announcement too where the OG Warzone, they're bringing the mobile too. So they could be doing something with that, keeping everybody in that pool where they got mobile players now in that console pool that they had. They could be doing something like that. That'd be really dope.
Interesting. We'll see how long they keep it up. Because I'm sure they're going to eventually want everybody to move over to 2. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales coming to PC, Steel.
Yeah.
November 18th. You're going to eventually drop into that, aren't you?
I am eventually going to drop into it. I'll be honest with you guys though, man. I want to experience Miles Morales, but at this point, I'd rather just experience what Spider-Man 2 is going to be. And from the people that I've talked to, and again, from what I've seen from Miles Morales, especially with me having access to mods and things, like, it's not like I'm necessarily going to be getting anything new. And the other thing too, it's like, I understand that Miles has different abilities, has different move sets. He feels like a different character, but depending on what price point this game is coming out, I think it's going to be $50 when it releases. I could be wrong on that. But for me personally, I may wait on it because I'd rather grind Gotham Knights out some more, so I'm ready for that mode at the end of the month. And right now I'm standing on a crossroad to where I'm trying to decide whether I want to get it for consoles or not, because there's a lot of people on console who've been wanting me to rock with them. But I've been trying to hit WB. I'm like, yo, crossplay? Hey, at least give me cross progression. Give me cross progression at least. If I gave cross progression, it'd be easy. But even then, it might be debatable, real life and things like that. But yeah, man, I think it's gonna be a good time. I think it's gonna be another way to get Spider-Man more traction again, especially if Spider-Man 2 is going to release next year. Continuing this mod train that we got currently going on is going to be really dope. It's going to be amazing to see if the modders end up kind of combining the two games to where maybe you don't have to exit the game or whatever they end up doing to kind of make it a all-in inclusive experience. That's going to be the main thing for me. But I'm hyped for it, but at the same time, it's going to be like I'll get to it when I can.
Nope, I got you. Then on the 18th of November, the Switch is getting a 10-year-old port called PID. It is a platformer game. It was out on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 and PC back in 2012. So Switch is getting a 10-year-old port called PID. So if you're looking for a platformer, who knows? This might be the one. Just odd. I looked it up. I'm like, wait, what? This came out in 2012. I don't even remember this game. Anyways, it's coming November 18th. But big week for Switch again. Of course, we got the Pokemans coming. The Pokemans are coming.
You go. You put Pokemon.
Yep, the Pokemans are coming, folks.
Pops.
I know. I had to do it for Pops. Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet are coming to Switch. I've already seen some people got this rolling on their Steam Deck Steel, raising the pirate flag. But hey,
you can get it on the Steam Deck, but you're not going to be playing online, and that's the main thing about this game that is going to be different. Again, this was one of the main reasons I got Arceus because I thought that experience was going to be there. But again, it was a test bed, so they could do it in this game. Man, am I a fool? But it is what it is. Again, Pokemon's going to continue to do what it does. Ash finally won his World Cup, so he's finally the greatest trainer to live. And he's...
Are you going to pick these up still?
I'll definitely get one or the other. Depends on what my brother wants to do. Yeah. I'm only going to get it if he ends up getting it. Okay. That'll be the only reason, because, again, I've told the story before, but it's... Me and him have always wanted a Pokemon game that we could play together at some point. This would probably really truly be that co-op experience. So that's what makes me truly excited about this, but we'll see.
You're cool. So Pokemon's coming. Get ready, folks. Resident Evil 3 also coming to Switch via streaming. Of course, that is dropping this week. So everybody who is primarily or only on Switch that never got the Resident Evil 3 remake, this is your chance. Obviously a great game. Some people didn't like Resident Evil 3 and the changes they made, but overall still a great experience according to a lot of people. So that is coming November 18th as well. And that's been... Oh, wait. We still got another one. Oh my God, we do have another one. Holy cow. So we got the Dark Pictures Anthology, The Devil in Me. And there's a lot of fans of Dark Pictures Anthology out there. Coming to PlayStation 5, coming to Xbox Series, coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on November 18th as well. So definitely hit that one up. It's going to be a good experience. If you like Dark Pictures Anthology, they don't miss. They really don't.
I've heard. Those games are really, really deep. They really pull you in and everything. So you guys like it, check it out, man. Yep. Typically not my type of games, but not saying that it wouldn't be for me. I just haven't given them on a shake. So,
and next week we got a couple of big ones too. As well.
Yeah, that following week we get a Game Pass game that's looking really dope, giving me some of them DMC feels that I've been kind of missing out on.
Yeah, Evil West,
bro. God. Good time, man.
Week. Yeah, we got some Golden Age is here, folks. Golden Age is here 100%. Each and every week, pretty much. We've got something exciting coming. But that was this week's upcoming games. And hey, real quick side note as well. We talked about it last week because it launched this week. Mm-hmm. Anybody out there who is a Tactics fan?
Oh, Ogre Tactics.
Ogre Tactics Reborn dropped this week, and it is getting rave reviews. You have a PlayStation, you have a Switch, and you like Tactics games, go please buy this game. The more people that buy this game, the bigger chance there is that it comes over to Xbox eventually. I'm not going to hold my breath by any stretch of the imagination with Square Enix, but maybe, just maybe, if enough people, this gets big enough people buy it, they will port that sucker over. to bring it to a new audience. Tactics Ogre, again, is right. It's 1B to Final Fantasy Tactics 1A. It's one of the GOATs, okay, of tactics games. Highly, highly recommend. And supposedly this remake, according to the reviews, I think it's sitting at like an 87, 88 on Open Critic. Fantastic. Looks gorgeous. Plays well. Go get it. So that was just my side note.
And ladies and gentlemen, in case on the live side of things, you were wondering what I was playing in the background today. It is Modern Warfare 2's campaign. You probably got to get to see me play probably the worst part of the campaign, which is the truck part and jumping from truck to truck, and that was the worst part of the campaign. Like I saw what they were going for. It was fine on normal.
It was fine on normal.
Okay, for me, for whatever reason, jumping the truck, like it just made it a terrible experience. I don't know. It was terrible. I saw what they were going for. It just didn't work well for me. The AI always did whatever it wanted to. But it was a good time. Definitely check it out if you haven't. Let's see. Where do we go from here, Pongy boy? Got about an hour or so before you got skedaddle.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time.
Got some time here, so what we're gonna get into?
We got about an hour and a half.
What we gonna get into? Slide on through.
Grab something, man. Grab something.
Let's see. Let's see. Been a couple different things. Well, let's start off with some low-hanging fruit. I'll go ahead and make this announcement to the chat. If you guys don't see, there is a poll currently going on in the chat for what is your game of the year. I think I got Elden Ring up there, God of War. I also threw in Vampire Survivors just to be funny. And then I also put other. Throw a vote in there. See what you guys are kind of feeling. I'm leaning towards Elden Ring for sure. It's been an overall experience. It's definitely I'm not going to say has lit the industry on fire for that genre of games, and has just done something different this year. I don't think a lot of people were expecting. So kind of where I'm at with it. Wandering Dutch says, played 7 hours of God of War Ragnarok yesterday, already setting itself to be my game of the year.
Of course. Shout out to you, man. Dutch. Way to go.
Shout out to you, man. But let's start. I guess we can start off with some low-hanging fruit here. Hey, Pong. So, what took EA so long to put Battlefield in fucking Game Pass? It makes them all of a sudden, they want to come out now and say, this is coming from Clover, who was one of the people who came out with this, and Clover is one of those guys who he's just entrenched in he's in the trenches on Twitter. He knows what's going on. He got some ties. He got some people on his phone ready to give him some information. So it's like he's a credible source, man. But Battlefield 2042 is coming soon to Xbox Game Pass with the start of Season 3. Season 3 will see the return of classes to Battlefield. Oh, wow, Battlefield, and much more coming in a few weeks. They're going to dive a little bit deeper into it here. They say, hey, folks, as we head into the end of Season 2, Master of Arms, we want you to get up to speed with where we're going with Season 3. On work with specialists and classes revamp, which weapons are next to join the 2042 Arsenal, map reworks, and exciting news about life for Battlefield 2042 beyond Season 4. To recap our development update video, we're drawing ever closer to the start of Season 3, which is set to bring with it a new specialist, a brand new map alongside reworks for both Manifest and Breakaway. On new hardware to add to your armory, Season 3 will also see the return of classes to Battlefield 2042, but that is all. I think at this point, Paul, I don't need to go any further because honestly, me diving any deeper, I think is going to end up putting the people to sleep, and I don't want to put the people to sleep per se. I don't get. Again, and we've talked about this. They've already come out and said, hey, we're already working on the next game after saying previously that this was going to be a game that was going to have some plan behind it and they're going to be out for some time. So it already has lost personally some credibility with me. Now, bringing back the class system is going to possibly give me a reason to maybe re-download it, but it's a big ask, right? I already have a modern war game that actually came out, and although it's missing like some of the base things I would like from like the barracks and things, it only took them 2 weeks to put that out. Whereas it took Battlefield and also Call of Duty had a more all together experience. Campaign, multiplayer was on point. A lot of people loving what's going on. Battlefield, only multiplayer, paying the full price, not getting everything that you're looking for, not getting the classic Battlefield experience. You smashed all these ideas into one game, and nothing is hitting the way that we thought. Although me and Pong can definitely say we've had a fucking fun time with Battlefield 2042, and I think it hurts us more than a lot of people, especially those who have actually invested in the game, in the state that it's currently in. And I think that's the most unfortunate part, because I don't know if this game is going to get the traction that it needs, even with it being in Game Pass. That's a boon for sure, but this is the problem that Battlefield had previously. Call of Duty came out and became something completely different, and now even Call of Duty is offering a Battlefield-esque mode and have been doing that over the last few games. So, what do you take from this entire thing, especially with me bringing some of those facts up too, where COD is now kind of stepping into that mantle of, no, it's not Battlefield. It's always going to be the more arcade-esque, but COD is still jumping out on that springboard and taking that leap of faith and saying, hey, we got something here too.
Kind of.
Yeah, for sure.
Battlefield is still different enough, Steel, that it's going to have its base, and it's earned a lot of people back with the changes that they have made, and hopefully now going back to the class system will have more people jump back into this. You and I have sold Battlefield 20.
Yeah,
people along easily with, the whole Fun Speculation family, because we had such a good time in it. And we've been praising the changes that they've made. We've been there since day one. We've seen it at its worst. And we saw it get better and better and better. And we've had one hell of an experience. I think I've got 100. I don't remember exactly, so don't quote me, but I think I've got 100.
A lot of fucking time.
So I can
nothing regrettable, but
yeah. So it's always going to exist, and it's always going to be like, I always used to, back in the day before we had, obviously, digital downloads were a big thing. Right. I was all physical, but I'd swap between the two all the time.
Right.
Like I'd play Call of Duty for a stretch, and then I'd switch back over to Battlefield and play that for a stretch. And I've always done that with both of these games, because the experiences are two different experiences. And yes, Call of Duty, why can't I think of the name of the mode right now? God,
DMZ.
It's not. No, DMZ is going to be there. Invasion is not Battlefield. Invasion is the one with the bots, and then you've got the other one. Why can't I think of the name of it? Ground War. Thank you.
And Ground War used to be different too back in the day, guys. Like Ground War was literally, was it 30? Was it 16 on 16, 32 on 30? It was something like that before, but it didn't have all the vehicles, just a big ass people just shooting at each other all the fucking time. Right. And now it's literally become Battlefield.
More like Battlefield. It's still definitely the arcadey version of it. It's not the exact same. So I think Battlefield's going to stand on its own. The fact that we talked about this is dropping the Game Pass. They took the longest period of time that they could, because their EA games, for anybody that know, drops into EA Play drops into the vault anytime between 6 months and a year. Well, they're taking the full damn year to drop Battlefield 2042 into it, and I think that was a huge mistake. Steel and I talked about this. They probably should have done it at 3 months. But obviously they wanted to recoup money. They thought they could fix the game enough where people would start buying the game again and get back to it. So they waited. So they didn't do it at 3 months. Steel and I started talking about it at 6 months again. Hey, you fixed a lot. Let's get this thing into Game Pass. Get this into EA Play. Let's get the player base up. Let's let out everybody who's on the fence, who says, I'm not going to spend any money on this game. Give them a chance to jump in here and see what it's offering, because it is a totally different experience than it was day one. They didn't do that. Well, now they're going to finally do it, because they kind of have to. They that's the expectation for EA Play. Right. That after a maximum of 12 months, they're going to drop it in to the vault. So here it comes. Wrong time, wrong place, yet again, Steel, because of the impact that Modern Warfare 2 has had, because Modern Warfare 2 is not just resting on its laurels. They're adding DMZ to this, on top of all the stuff we just talked about: Invasion, Ground War, your regular multiplayer. Plus, you got Warzone 2.0 dropping. it's a bad time. You're going to have an uphill battle yet again to try to draw people in, even at a free price, because now a part of that decision-making process, Steel, is game space on your hard drive.
Yep.
Are you honestly
100%.
going to carry both Call of Duty and Battlefield on your hard drive? I deleted Battlefield. Am I going to bring Battlefield back? Potentially with the class system, I may make room for it, but my God, I've got a lot of games that I've got to keep on my hard drive because I'm playing them. So it's going to be a tough decision there as well. I think they're going to see a bump. I think there's going to be obviously people who are not Modern Warfare fans, which there's a lot of people again. It's not like Call of Duty is everybody in the world. There's going to be people that finally jump into Battlefield and see how well it's playing and have a freaking fantastic time. And it's going to be, I mean, again, Battlefield 5, for as bad a launch as that had, is still being played by a ton of people daily. So Battlefield 2042 is going to exist. It's going to be there. It's going to be available for everybody. Maybe people down 3 months from now get tired of Modern Warfare 2. They get tired of Modern Warfare 2 and they want to break and they want to change. So they uninstall Modern Warfare 2, go over to Game Pass or EA Play and say, you know what? Let's hop into Battlefield. Because it is a completely different experience. So this is good. It's just way too late. This is, again, it's just way too late. They should have done this months and months and months and months and months ago to try to find the fans out there. But I'm happy it's happening. And I think that there will be some people who jump in this and say, you know what? This ain't too bad. This is actually a really good Battlefield experience. They've reworked the maps. We also got word this week as well that it looks like they're going to be dropping one map per update. Again, that goes along with the fact that they're building a brand new Battlefield game as we speak, that they're starting that. So obviously it's not all hands on deck at 2042. One map is disappointing per drop, but they're reworked a lot of the older maps already. And they continue to do so, and they have made those maps better. So Battlefield is in a good spot. Unfortunately, they didn't take advantage of the situation they had last year. They could have really taken off and brought Battlefield back to the forefront. They did that. So now it's in Zampella we trust, Steel, for the next Battlefield 3 years maybe from now. 3 years, I imagine, if Zampella is going to rework the entire thing, probably.
Yeah, I mean, you got to put it in his hands. I mean, again, he's been on point with it thus far, so there's no reason for me to doubt him up to this point. So, yeah, man, at that point, I guess that's where we're at, unfortunately.
Yep. Definitely. But yeah, good to see. So, again, if you're looking for something different outside of Call of Duty, you can't go wrong with Battlefield. You're not going to jump there. It's not a mess. You're not going to jump in there and be like, my God, why did I do this? No, you're going to have a great experience. If you like Battlefield games, you're going to have a great experience with this game. Steel and I have been enjoying the hell out of it. So when we were playing it.
Yeah, 100%. I loved everything about it. Again, it does have its issues. I mean, it's just it's the generation we're in, man. You're either going to cut it or you're not. And it's unfortunate. But I think it'll be all right.
It will be.
With that being said, though, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what we want to tickle each other with now. Pause. Let's see here.
Want to get into EU guy?
EU guy. I mean, the EU guy. We talked about that a little bit last night on Ultimate 2. Coming out here. Let me see if I can get his statement exactly, so we can get that set up correctly here. There we go. I think that. I will bring up I will start here from the VGC saying the European Commission has officially launched an in-depth probe of Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard, citing competition concerns. It will make a decision by March 23, 2023. One of the key points that VGC has pointed out, and that's videogamechronicles.com, in particular, the commission is concerned that by acquiring Activision Blizzard, Microsoft may foreclose access to Activision Blizzard's console and PC video games, especially to high-profile and highly successful games, so-called AAA games such as Call of Duty. Again, we've talked about this here a couple times, definitely been more than that. But again, I don't know how many more times that Xbox, Microsoft has to come out and state that they will be treating Call of Duty like Minecraft, will be literally going everywhere. And I don't know, man. it's getting to a point to where I just kind of want to see this thing play out. I don't know if anybody like this commissioner that I'm about to bring this statement in, I don't think that anybody like this individual saying these types of things has any real effect on who's making a decision, and that's why he was able to make a statement like this. Or maybe they just don't care and they're just off the cuff and they just want to be part of social media. They are getting more attention than they've ever had before, and there's no telling when they'll get this type of attention next time. I brought up this point last night that with Xbox, Microsoft doing the $70 billion deal in tech, it's going to set a new precipice to the point to where Microsoft will set the standard. And if they come to the back door and cut another $2 billion deal next year, what are you really going to say about that? Right? Like, the differences on what those types of deals would mean, I just think that would set a new precipice, a new standard for everybody across the board in the industry. But Ricardo Cardoso, Ricardo in his at R Cardoso EU. I mean, you guys don't have to send him a hate mail or anything like that. But apparently he is a deputy head of unit institutional and outreach views in the EU. And he says the commission is working to ensure that you will still be able to play Call of Duty on other consoles, including my PlayStation. Also on our to-do list, updating stock pictures. These gamers have wired controllers, whereas Xbox and PlayStation have wireless ones since about 2006. I'm lost. Because this comes across extremely biased.
No,
you're not. You're Steel. As someone who is a regulator of these things, or someone who's just in business overall. And Pong, you'll probably end up bringing the example back up better than I will. But it's like you working at an Apple store and you saying that, man, your Note 20 is your favorite phone. Did you not read the room? You work in an Apple store.
He read the rooms.
And obviously he read the room. And again, that's why I personally think that this is just an attention grabber. But that's why I also think that he cannot have any true relevance on what's going on with the case. He may just throwing a voice out there. And the only reason I say that, because we did have the who was the chick that did that Italian interview?
So that she was from the CMA. She was from the CMA.
Okay.
She was part of the CMA. She's a spokesperson for the CMA.
Ariana Podesta.
Yes, yeah.
European
She did an Italian podcast. She's a spokesman, so a PR person is what she is. And she did the Italian podcast. Now, I watched it, but I didn't watch it fully translated because I was at work. So, but Mav watched it through. And really what she did there was people that pulled out of that, that stated like, oh, she was specifically talking about the ABK deal and Call of Duty, and that she was saying that it would be very tough to get this deal to go through with them without concessions. But if you actually watch the translation, she was very specific in stating that I cannot speak on this ABK deal specifically. All I can talk to you about is generalities, right? When it comes to what we do, what we look at. And so she was just saying that any deal of this size is going to be scrutinized, and concessions will generally be made in a deal of this size to, make everybody feel good, right? That's what she was stating. And she wasn't talking about the ABK deal in specifics at all, because she can't. And so I thought she did a better job being neutral in this whole time. Again, this is all weird to me, Steel, but we're talking about different cultures, different societies, but these government officials acting like they're celebrities, like and I know the CMA's technically not a part of the UK government. Like, they're supposed to be like outside of the government. Come on, man. They all are appointed, or they're all get that job because of who they know. And a lot of them, if you look at who, because you can go see all the CMA people that are on the CMA, A lot of them are either CEOs at top corporations, which will have connections to the government, or they formerly were a part of the government and now they're over at the CMA, like they held a position in the UK government.
Right.
And now they're over at the CMA. So again, but it's funny because the Italian podcast that had her on was like, woo, let's go. We got her, you know, like all this kind of, it was weird to me. And then you've got this EU guy coming out, Ricardo. And flat out, if you go look at his Twitter, because we all had to double check his Twitter, like, is this one of those fake, you know, authenticated, you know, but no, it's not. If you go look at his old posts, he doesn't post very often, but his old posts are boring. Like, hey, this is what we look at when we look at tech companies. And this is what we like, all his boring EU regulatory body tweet posts, right? To me, Steel, like I said on Xbox Ultimate, like, this is their shining moment. None of these people get this kind of attention from any of the other deals they scrutinize. When they're scrutinizing some oil company, nobody cares.
Exactly.
Nobody gives a shit. It's only because they are so happen to be scrutinizing the biggest deal in entertainment industry history in video games that now they got like the spotlight on them. And all these people are like, hey, we do exist. Look at us. We have a purpose, people. Look at me. I get to get out here and talk because, oh, look at everybody's interested in what I got to say. That's what it seems like. And that's what his post, again, I put this in the same level as the corny CMA posts with the emojis and the PowerPoint slide presentation screenshots. That was corny. And I thought I had seen it all when the CMA was doing this publicly. But to see an individual like this, it's unprofessional is the best way I can put it. Even if it's not illegal, even if it doesn't affect the deal. And Hogue did speak out on this too as well. Somebody asked Hogue directly, do you think that this, you know, helps Microsoft's case, or is this a slam dunk because this guy is obviously showing his bias? And Hogue said, well, no. He said it's not going to be like win the case. But he goes, it makes the EU commission, the regulatory body, look awful. And that's exactly what I'm saying. This is unprofessional. You're supposed to, if you're in one of these positions as a regulatory body, you're supposed to at least maintain the illusion of neutrality. Now, we all know as human beings, you know, the illusion of neutrality, everybody's going to have a bias a certain way. But like Steele and I were talking about, when we talk about video games, there's a group of people out here who like to say you're fake neutral. You can't be neutral. Listen, you can talk about things in a way, even if you hold a semi-bias, you can still appreciate and respect the other side, which is when the neutrality comes in. You can hold on to that if that's how you truly feel. And that's how Steele and I truly feel about video games. Is like, I have no care in the world for Nintendo, but I can still look at Breath of the Wild or whatever the case may be and still say, hey, it's not a game for me, but I understand why people really think it's one of the greatest games of all time. That's holding a neutral standpoint despite my bias, because I still appreciate what Nintendo does. I still respect the hustle, still respect their history. These people here, when you come out and make a statement like this, Steele, and you are talking about, we're going to make sure that Call of Duty is still on PlayStation, including my PlayStation. Listen, you've just dropped all illusion. You've just shown that you are not in any way, shape, or form unbiased in this situation at all, that you're not even looking at the Xbox side of things. You're concerned. And again, we don't know if he's really a gamer. We don't know if this was a, hey kids, how you doing type moment where he was just trying to fit in and act like he's a gamer. We don't know any of that. But if he is a gamer, then he just dropped all of that and was like, no, I care that my PlayStation still has Call of Duty because I don't want to go buy an Xbox, is basically what he made it sound like. And that's awful. That's awful. When you're making a decision, like I said last night on Xbox Ultimate, this would have been like as if the judge in Epic versus Apple looked over at the Apple defense team while they were in court, and he held up his S22 Ultra and said, I'm an Android guy, just so you know. Like, that's exactly what it's like. Like,
doesn't have to do with anything.
No, he would have been dismissed. Number one, exactly. They would have replaced him. Again, in a court of law, that can't happen. You can't have that kind of bias without getting called out for it, and there's ramifications. But here, he obviously feels there's no ramifications. But like I said, the $1 million Microsoft attorneys, when this tweet went out, guarantee you are loving it. They are going to screenshot the hell out of this. They are going to have this in their filings that they file with the EU Commission and say, look, we don't know what you guys got going on over here, but you're supposed to be looking at this deal from a neutral standpoint and weighing both sides. How can you do that when you've got a guy straight up on your board? And we don't know if he's officially a part of the
exactly
either. But how can we, if this guy is one of the guys looking at this deal, how can we take your decision seriously?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, he's flat out saying, I don't want my PlayStation to lose Call of Duty. Look, yo, that's not your call, brother. That's not your call. Again, as everybody rightfully pointed out, where were you guys with all the exclusivity deals for Sony? Not saying, hey,
they didn't exist.
Right. Where were you? Because again, if you're going to take that stance here with one game, Call of Duty, well, we got a list of about 25, 30 games that should be over on Xbox that aren't because of PlayStation's bullying. So where were you?
Where were you guys when why aren't you guys looking at the fact that Sony literally has the majority in the gaming industry?
Right.
Is literally set up as a monopoly currently.
Right. And
themselves.
And you want to know the answer to that, Steel? They were nowhere because that's not their job.
Exactly.
Their job isn't to stop that from happening. That's business. And like I said from the beginning, that is straight up business. You cannot you can look at it and say it's terrible. It's not, I don't like it. You can say all that, but it's business. And that's all this is right here. And for you to start trying to dictate Xbox's business just because you want one game to remain on your platform, you can't do that. You can't do that. Like I said, I think at the end of the day, Steel, what they're looking for here is this deal's going to go through. Okay, this deal's going to go through. But all these regulatory bodies, they want to wave around some type of flag afterwards saying, we took Microsoft, the big, bad, $1 trillion Microsoft, to the mat, and we got a win out of it. That's what they really want at the end of the day. They want to hold this up because this is their one chance in the spotlight where everybody's looking at them because everybody now knows that these regulatory bodies exist because nobody knew these regulatory bodies really existed before until this deal. I mean, we did, but most people never pay attention again. So they want, after this deal's done and it closes and they say, yeah, it's okay, the deal went through, but look what we did. We put Microsoft in a headlock. We got them to give up Call of Duty. It's going to remain on PlayStation. That's what they're looking for at the end of the day. I think personally, it's grandstanding. We saw the FTC and our politicians do it, and then it went dead silent. Now we got the CMA and EU taking grandstanding to a whole new level, but that's really what they want at the end of the day is a victory as they pass the deal. That's all they want. They want something to show for it.
Yeah, 100%. Again, it's just funny to me to see how things are continuously playing out. And again, the fact that I personally don't think that Microsoft would have, or Xbox needs to make concessions, period. There will end up being the concession being made just to save face. And again, just to make everything easier. Again, the biggest thing about this and their biggest goal is to give a problem to the company and for the company to address the problem. And if Microsoft Xbox comes up with a solution to the problem and puts it in paper, like we talked about last night, and says that, hey, we, as long as there's a PlayStation delivered to, we will continue to provide the Call of Duty experience to that platform. I think that that's just the next step to take it, because at this point, you've offered it. Obviously, they want it in paper. Obviously, somebody wants some more, something else that they can put their stamp on to say that, hey, what you guys said, you got to hold your word to this, and then just go forward from there. Because other than that, there's literally nothing else preventing this from going through. And if there is, you're basically, like I mentioned last night, you're basically saying that nobody else in the industry can be number one, except Nintendo. And that's not fair or right, because Nintendo does not compete in the same way that Xbox and PlayStation compete with each other.
Right.
As much as either may say that, oh, we don't compete in this and that, Microsoft may say they could do. No, the direct competitor currently is PlayStation. Forever until somebody else buys them or Apple buys them, it turns into the Apple Station. That'll be the only other way. But The only person providing them competition is Xbox. And if you're saying that Xbox could never be above Sony, that's a problem. In business, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You're choosing a side.
You can't.
That's not how this works.
That's not competition.
It's like, again, I have that problem now. I have to choose an internet provider. I have to choose a side. I only have 2 to choose from. And neither one are better than the other. Some people see gaming in the same way. Neither one is better than the other. But I got to choose one. And hopefully I get the best service from the one that I choose. That just business does not have to be that way. There should be other people able to provide that service, other people to provide competition. And again, for them to say, oh, we're looking out for the future because Microsoft could potentially monopolize, headset's dead, by the way. Microsoft could potentially monopolize through streaming, the cloud, in industries that are not proven, have no information behind them, still knew it could possibly fail, even though we don't see it that way. But these things could happen, and you're already putting a limiter on them just because their thumb is on the pulse currently.
Correct. And I'll throw these 2 final points out that we should let everybody know, 2 on this, and then we can, because I know a lot of people are tired of this. But it's strange. Like I said, I think you've seen it all, and then this comes along. And Awful Grim Bones, yeah. No, I'm not going to drop some M&M bars, okay? I'm not going to. You don't want me near music at all, okay? Whether it's rap, whether it's real singing, none of it. You don't want me around it, okay? Because I'm not talented like that, okay? I have 0 rhythm. This man has 0 rhythm. I love it all, and I wish I did have rhythm, but I don't. But 2 final points here. Number 1, keep your eye on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus Premium when it comes to this Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I said this on Xbox Ultimate last night. For anybody who wasn't there, I'm going to say it again here. This is just my personal opinion, my personal thought. It doesn't mean that I think any of what I'm about to say is right at all. But I think this is where we're headed. When Jim Ryan made the initial statement after Phil came out and confirmed that he had offered him a new deal, and Jim said that there was unacceptable on many levels. Okay. When he said that it was unacceptable on many levels, I think one of the main sticking points we have with this is that PlayStation, Jim Ryan, do not want Microsoft to have the ability to put Call of Duty into Game Pass without it also coming to PlayStation Plus Premium. Okay. And again, I'm not going to agree with this, but I'm saying I think this is the one concession that we're probably headed towards, where Microsoft and Xbox are going to have to make a big, giant decision on whether or not they're going to give this up. Now, what I'm saying here is that I believe that to get this passed through the EU and the CMA with the stance that they're taking about xCloud and Game Pass, and they're treating them as separate entities outside of the regular ecosystem.
Right.
And they're saying that Call of Duty could push Game Pass to a position of such dominance that nobody else is going to be able to compete or join in. If that's their hard line, then I think it's going to come down to they are going to point this out to Xbox and Microsoft, because again, the EU does not say, hey, you have to do this, this, and this for this to go through with us. What they do is say they present the problems that they see to Microsoft and Xbox, and then Microsoft and Xbox have to come back with answers to those problems and say, this is what we're proposing to make you feel good. Okay, this is what we're proposing. And then the EU says, okay, that's good enough. We'll allow, we're going to go ahead and let this deal go through. So it's not like, hey, they come to them and say, this is our list of demands. No, they say, this is our list of problems. Now you tell us how you're going to fix it. So I think what winds up happening here is Microsoft and Xbox are going to have to make a choice. And I think this deal is too big and too many other things are in consideration when you look at this deal in totality versus just Call of Duty. What Microsoft is gaining from ABK might be worth the concession that when they drop Call of Duty into Game Pass, when this last marketing deal is up, that they are going to offer Sony Call of Duty for PlayStation Plus Premium. They're going to offer it to them. Now, not for free. So Microsoft and Xbox are going to make money off of this. They're going to make money off of Sony. But I think that they're going to wind up conceding the point that if they drop it into Game Pass, they have to offer it to Sony to put it into their subscription service as well. And I think that that might be the final kind of domino that gets this deal put through. Now, I know, again, I don't agree with it, folks, so don't come at me like I'm saying, oh, this is a good... I'm not saying that. I don't think business should be dictated that way by any government at all. I don't think that anybody should have that power. But when Microsoft, when Phil and Satya are looking at the totality of ABK, and they're looking at everything that they're gaining, I think they might be willing to give up that one. And it's a big one. Okay, it's a big one. Because one of the main selling points for Game Pass would be to say, hey, Call of Duty's here in Game Pass, or you can go buy it at $70 over on PlayStation. Yeah. That would be a huge selling point. But when you're talking about everything else they're gaining out of this, and if they're being truthful, which I believe they are, when they say King is the biggest part of this, the mobile division is the biggest part of this. Second biggest part is Blizzard. And we got Phil coming out this week talking about bringing back StarCraft again, of course. When they're talking about everything they gain, I think they might be willing to give up that one big shiny diamond for the whole treasure, as I talked about before. I think that might be possible. And I think that might be the one sticking point. Also, I also wanted to bring, I know, I'll let you get your, real quick too. Real quick, keep your eye on this week. Tom Warren in the tweets underneath this comment from the EU guy. Tom Warren, who was it? I think it was Jez. I think it was Jez jumped underneath and said, or somebody did. I can't. No. It was Ryan McCaffrey. Ryan McCaffrey from IGN jumped underneath this guy's tweet and said, respectfully, I don't think it could be made much more clear when the head of Xbox has already publicly stated that they're going to keep Call of Duty on your PlayStation. Like Ryan McCaffrey usually doesn't jump in like that. Mav made a great point. Yeah, you know, Ryan McCaffrey usually doesn't. Usually doesn't do that. So he jumped in and said that. Tom Warren from The Verge, who is very well connected within Xbox and Microsoft as a whole, underneath that said, it'll be much, what do you say? I'm paraphrasing now. It'll be made much more clear, but that's for next week. It can be much more clear, but that's for next week. So Tom Warren's hinting at something coming out about this situation, about Call of Duty specifically, and about it being everywhere next week and staying everywhere next week. So keep your eyes open, eyes and ears open this fall. Next week. We might be getting some more information.
Yeah. I just want to kind of touch on a little bit about like possibility of of Xbox not being allowed to put Call of Duty in Game Pass. And as much as that, yes, you're 100% right. At the end of the day, if that's one of the concessions they have to make where it cannot be that case, I don't think it'll end up being a big deal in the long run, especially since the split's not going to be 70-30. It's going to be 100% towards Microsoft, so it is what it is. Unless they figure out a different deal with that also. I think that Microsoft would definitely fight that because their play is Game Pass. Right. And honestly,
I get that.
It's Game Pass is only an option. For you to limit my options and my ecosystem on something that I own, that I spent this money on to also bring it to more audiences to where you only want to limit it.
You could still put it there, Steel, though.
Yeah, you
could still put it there. You just have to offer it to Sony for PlayStation Plus Premium. So you just have to make the offer that. You know what I'm saying?
Will Sony do that though?
But I think so. And I
think so.
That's the way it comes across. Opinion.
I do see where
that's the way when Jim said unacceptable on many levels. I think that's one of the main levels.
I think that was one of the things.
He just does not want it so that only Game Pass has it, but that Microsoft has to offer it to Sony for PlayStation Plus Premium as well.
Ooh, and they're getting into a really deep bag with that one, though, because then they would really have to sit down at a table, talk about each other's numbers, and say, "Hey, well,
what's the value?
What are you going to pay me for that?"
Right, correct.
Because I'm not just going to put it in your service. You're not going to pay me.
No. You're going to pay it. Yeah.
And Is that the way? Is that how they turn that 70 instead of the 100 going to Microsoft? Is that how they kind of even out that 70-30 split? Because I don't think even with, unless again, and I would like to see Microsoft be a little bit more aggressive just because of how history has played itself to this point, right? And as the saying goes, it's not always good to drop down to the level of your of the enemy sometimes, right? Sometimes you just got to do things at your own level, you know, remain calm and figure things out for yourself. But I do think it would be such a power move for them for that to happen. And I think that we would end up getting a lot more information on how some things work behind the scenes, right? Because for whatever reason, when it comes to situations like that, they want to make sure that the community kind of knows what's going on. So it starts that conversation, right? Oh, PlayStation, Xbox, they hand in hand, huh? Oh, they're trying to put it in the service? Or who's touching whose pockets? And
now when Diablo 4 drops into Game Pass, Steel, and now we're on PlayStation.
No, that's gonna make a difference, and I know a lot of people don't try to make it seem like they don't care about Diablo 4. Like, guys, whatever can happen with Call of Duty. At the end of the day, games coming directly into Game Pass is going to happen. There's no deal currently that says Diablo can't go into Game Pass.
Right.
Nothing. Right. All Microsoft let to do is pay themselves.
Yeah, and they already got a marketing deal for Diablo, I think.
Oh man. So it only makes sense. There's other things again, and that's why we always say that you can't use those as that. You can't use one game as the focus on a whole studio that has so much more to offer. Other development houses within them that have made other games, but have been all put together to make this one Modern Warfare 2 and seemingly have made it come out pretty well. Ham Solo says, my brother L Luck 7 can't buy PS5 games in Africa because PlayStation doesn't accept his payment methods because of his region. Yeah. The thing, man, again, like, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but PlayStation, I mean, both systems have had their issues with localization and offering it to other countries, right? Recently, Xbox has been a lot more forthright, but that's because I've had to, right? That's why Xbox is as big as it is in Brazil, for an example. The number one market there, and then why PlayStation is as big as it is in the UK, for an example. It's just, that's still something else that we got to work on, man, right? Being able to localize more things, giving people more access. That's the overall goal. That's why it's always so weird to me when it's like when things come out that seem like they're trying to limit, or when Microsoft brings certain things to the forefront and then Sony seemingly brings things that are like opposite, all the while doing the same exact thing. Because nobody said that Sony had to rebrand PlayStation Now and Plus. Nobody said that they had to combine their subscriber numbers.
Oh, but it made sense.
But it made sense. Nobody said that they had to put Stray in there. They're willing. So obviously they're willing to. It's not first party, but they're willing to spend money to get games in there. That game wasn't free. So it's just obviously something else happened behind. Master Clown says Ubisoft should put Valhalla on Game Pass a lot sooner. I did see somebody say that Valhalla is supposedly becoming the Game Pass, which is going to be really dope because, again, that Assassin's Creed also has a form of Ragnarok. Right? That I thought but I've also heard that people actually really enjoyed. So we got two games that'll give you that experience where that will be funny.
Yeah, Ubisoft didn't need to put Valhalla on there. Again, it did well. A $1 billion franchise.
It did well. They could have waited as long as they waited and it'd been just fine.
It was a $1 billion game for Ubisoft. That was huge, gigantic for Ubisoft. And Call of Duty made that in a week.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's like, what are we talking about? But again, you know, that's why I also try not to get overwhelmed with this conversation too, is because we got to keep talking about it, because like, I understand why people bring up Call of Duty, because it is a money maker. Duh.
And Sony made it the issue.
Yeah.
And Sony made it the issue.
So obviously it's a problem. But nonetheless, you can't say it's not funny. It's funny. I think it's hilarious because it's whatever. Anyway, I think that was awesome points there. Awesome. Let's see. Where are we going to take it from here? I think I got one lined up right here. Sony has reportedly partnered with NC Soft to make a Horizon MMORPG. For those who aren't familiar, that is a massive multiplayer online role-playing game. Now, this game is said to be in development at the South Korean company behind Lineage and Guild Wars. Both games are great games. Neither I have any time in. Neither do I have any time in, but I know that both are good games. Again, you don't have to play all games to recognize a good game, or a bad game for that matter. I'll speak my points on this in a second. So Sony and NC Soft have reportedly struck a deal to create an Horizon MMORPG. According to the news site MTN Mountain, this is what the project will be developed by the South Korean company behind the Lineage and Guild Wars MMO series and target the global market as part of Sony's push into live service games. Again, this is something that I personally feel like Sony is at least a decade behind in, but we'll see how they catch up. NC Soft is currently recruiting developers to work on the title, which is said to be listed as Project H in job ads. A statement from NC Soft's Global Communication Office reportedly read, via Google Translate, "It is difficult to confirm information about unpublished projects that are currently under development." BGC has contacted Sony for comment on this report. Guerrilla Games, the Sony-owned studio behind 2017's Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a good overall game, but I found quite boring. And this year's sequel, Horizon Forbidden West, which for whatever reason seems to continue that with some people, has long planned to expand Horizon into multiplayer. BGC understands. And by the way, that's Video Games Chronicle. I don't know if I said that. Sources previously told BGC that co-op was initially planned for the first Horizon game, but was ultimately scrapped so the development team could focus on their areas of the title. You know what? Now that that's brought up, I can see, especially playing Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, where that would have worked. This game is definitely begging for there to be a co-op experience there, where if it was me and Pong running through these fucking worlds, oh yeah, we'd be fucking tearing it up. You know, a fucking blast of a time. I think that would have added another element to it. But to me, I think it still speaks to something as beautiful of a game as Horizon is. And again, I personally think the Horizon Forbidden West is probably one of the most graphically impressive games so far. I just think that Guerrilla Games is having a hard time with telling a story. Seemingly, at least to me. Again, they have good character. They have a good character. They have a good base. But for whatever reason, I'm not going to say a majority of people, a large amount of people, but for some people, I will say, the story leaves much to be desired. Right? Especially when you do have characters that they do hit, but for whatever reason, it's not working through, whether that be through through the interaction, some of the dialogue, which is, I think that's the main complaint that a lot of people have, is the dialogue that continuously goes on. It takes you out of the experience instead of keeping you in, along with the moment gameplay, right? Because that matters for a lot of people. And again, with me only playing the first game, not necessarily have beaten it. I put about 10 hours into it. I can only speak from that standpoint. So no way, shape, or form I'm saying the game is bad, but it does seem like it leaves me a little bit worried as far as them getting into an MMO side of things, because if you were having problems already, if that was one of your original ideas for this game, I can only imagine how hard it's going to be. And MMOs are not easy games to make.
But still, that's why you go get NC Soft.
I mean, that's true. That is true.
That's why you go get it, because the narrative in Guild Wars,
yeah,
and the narrative in Lineage were both on point.
That's exactly what I was going to get to.
Okay.
Because what does give me some saving grace, I wanted to leave with a little bit of negative before I got into some positive here.
Okay.
What leaves me with some saving grace is that I do trust in.
Right.
I do trust their work, and I do understand that they have a certain level of expectation that they're going to want to present to this game. Now, what do I expect for this game to be? I expect it for it to be Monster Hunter, because it's exactly what Horizon
100%.
is. It's exactly what it is. There's nothing else that the game could fucking be. Honestly, it could be exactly what I want. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because that's what I wanted out of Monster Hunter. a more MMO-like experience, right? An open world, you got a hub, I come back, we chop it up, I look at your character, you look at my character, we go out, slay some monsters, there's not all these loading screens in between, taking me out of the experience. Give me one conducive experience, like I hope Wild Heart would do. I hope it's not like Monster Hunter, where it's separated out, because that's the one thing I don't like about it. Like, Monster Hunter is awesome for gameplay and mechanics and combat and being very versatile. It doesn't do well is keeping you in that experience, especially when you have these grand fantasy worlds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like keep me there. Like, yeah, I don't mind a little loading screen every now, but keep me in the world. Keep me invested. Keep me like, oh man, if I'm running out this gate, oh now there's a big ass T-Rex outside. Fuck, I gotta kill. Hey, Pong, if I can pull the bow out, strap him down. I'm trying to ride on his back, man. Damn. Those are the examples of things that could possibly happen in this type of game, but not necessarily saying that they're doing something new, but because NCSoft is behind it, because Guerrilla does have a good base of a game overall, I think that NCSoft has a excellent direction to lead with, and I think we'll end up getting a very amazing game.
Yeah.
Personally. That's kind of my thoughts on it so far. There's not much else information that they brought up about what they're expecting to come from this. They're early in development on it. So one of the things that they did bring up, though, is that they said Sony had also been keen to include co-op in Forbidden West, but Guerrilla decided to save the feature for a future project. So again, another example of them, they were going to put it in the next game, and again, it couldn't. So they held it off, which would either be a standalone online spin-off or Horizon 3. Again, this also kind of leaves credence that this could be a game that could come out within the next 4 years, just because of the talent behind the scenes. And also, this doesn't seem like a brand new idea. This seems like something that has a skeleton possibly behind the scenes and needs to be figured out to really expand on it. Again, that's where they have Bungie. Now they have NCSoft. They have a lot of people in-house at Sony now to really create a one-of-a-kind experience and something that is of that Monster Hunter ilk, Wild West ilk when that game comes out, and we'll see if that ends up being any good. But they have something of that that could attract a lot of people, because in the East, they love that style of game. And if you can give them something that's not really zone-based per se, but more conducive, I think that they would fall head over heels on that one. How do you feel about this, Pong? Do you think you kind of agree with me where you feel a little bit worried, at least in the beginning, because Guerrilla does seem to kind of be, sure, they've done well moving from a first-person shooter from Killzone, going now into Forbidden West. They did really well, I personally believe, because a lot of people don't make that transition. Again, Playground, so we got to see what they're going to do with that, going from Horizon to Fable. But with everything that we've seen from Guerrilla up to this point, they're in the VR space now also. They're going to give you more of an on-rails experience with that. But just expanding it out more with NCSoft, how do you feel about it? Do you think that this is a good move? Do you think there's possibly a great game to be made here? What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think that this... I understand not everybody likes Horizon. I personally like Zero Dawn. I probably put... I don't even remember. I didn't finish, as you all know, as always. So, but I personally liked the game. I liked Aloy as a character. I thought she was fantastic. I didn't find the game boring. I liked being out on the hunt, for the dinosaurs. I liked different mechanics with the traps and all that kind of stuff. Now, I haven't played Forbidden West. I've obviously watched people play it. Highlights of it. I've heard people talk about it. Personally, I think it'd be a game that I would jump into and play even more so than God of War for me, or Spider-Man. So I have more interest in Horizon naturally. I'm more biased on Horizon than most people are.
Right.
For whatever reason, Sony obviously believes in Horizon as a franchise. We've got the Netflix series, which was announced earlier this year as well. They're making a Netflix series. They've got the VR game. Now you add an MMO to this. They obviously are all in on the Horizon world, and universe. So I'm down for this. Again, we knew Sony was moving into this space. We knew, when they came out and said they got 12 games as a service style games within the next 4 years, that we were going to start hearing about these deals, because we only know of a few of them. So the fact that they're willing to go partner with an NCSoft to make this happen, obviously gives me a ton of confidence in this game. Now, if this was Sony first party, like if they came out and said Guerrilla Games was making an MMO, I'd be like,
yeah, that would have been like, okay.
I'm like, I'd be a really wait and see, because that would be a new frontier for them. So I'd be like, yeah.
10 years later.
But the fact that they're going to NCSoft, somebody who does have a history with MMOs, good to great MMOs. There's some people who love Guild Wars and Lineage back in the day. People don't understand how big that game was. I have a lot more faith in this project, and I think this is a great move for Sony, and it shows that, hey, they're investing. They're investing. They again, they're way behind. Like you said, they're way behind. But what do you do when you're way behind? Well, you go buy a Bungie to bring in some masterclass on how to form these types of games internally, right? You bring that masterclass in. But while you're learning and you're trying to get your first party studios up to speed, you're trying to grow them, in the meantime, you got to go do something else. So you go get another masterclass in MMOs in NCSoft to make one of your big properties, your big IPs, into an MMO experience, which could be, at the end of the day, again, we know it's not easy, Steel.
Right.
You know more than most people.
Yeah.
MMOs, but you've tried a ton of MMOs.
I got 1,500 hours in BDO.
Right. It's a bloodbath, like BRs. It's the same thing. If you're going to step into that space, you got to hit. You got to hit big. But if you do hit and you do find something, you do find that magic in MMO, listen, it's a big stream of revenue. It's a giant stream of revenue. It can
100%.
print money.
Whales love that shit.
Exactly. So you go get that. You go get that NCSoft to give you the best chance to hit. And I think that NCSoft is the perfect partner here. And I got to say that, from that aspect, I find more confidence in it than that. And if it turns out to be, and that the first thought that you had, Steel, was the first thought that I had, listen, they're making a Monster Hunter MMO here. That could be extremely appealing.
Yeah.
Extremely appealing if they do it right, like you said, taking that Monster Hunter experience and opening it up into a seamless world where you and I, 5 other people, can go out on a hunt for a T-Rex. Like, my God, how cool would that? Again, I loved Horizon. Horizon's initial draw for me was, of course, the Dinobots.
Yeah,
because the minute I saw the robot dinosaurs, like, oh my God, we got Dinobots.
Automatically.
We got Dinobots. This looks great. And if they can just make that bigger and better, and they can introduce new species like they did in Forbidden West, and they can make it so that you're always in kind of a new, you're having to strategize just like you do in Monster Hunter, how we're going to go hunt this certain monster, all that kind of stuff. If they can expand all that, and NCSoft again has proven in the MMO space that they're able to do things, then yeah, I think you have the winning formula. I think this could be a big boon for Sony. And then you throw in the Netflix series coming out. Got the hype levels continuing to roll for Aloy and her character and that world. And you throw an MMO out there, yeah, all of a sudden you might hit that jackpot, baby. It could be the new big phenomenon. But they're gonna try. Like we said from the beginning, Steel. They said 12 in 4 years or whatever it was.
Yeah, 10.
Jim said 10 years. Yeah, whatever it was, 10 and 4 years, whatever it was. Like I said, you only need, not all those are going to be winners. Not all those are going to hit.
Nope.
You're not going to have that kind of record
with
these types of games. No. You just need 1 or 2 to hit it big. You just need 1 or 2 to hit it big, and you got your stream of income flowing in nonstop. And that's big for Sony. That's what they have to do, because they got to get diverse. They have to diversify. So, no. I'm excited for this, Steel. I can't wait to see something on it. It's probably going to be a few years away,
right?
But I can't wait to see something on it.
And Dragonheart Yobi brings up something. He says, I want to see a Spider-Man MMO. And honestly, Yobi, what I would love to see is Marvel's take on DCUO. DC Universe Online, which I had. There's another game that I spent a lot of time in. Another MMO, superhero based, which is really dope, man. You know, the idea of you making your own characters and getting the abilities of, say, your favorite hero or favorite villain, and basically putting a rotation around it for each one. I think it's super dope. And I always said I would love to see Marvel's take on that, or a game that's more like over the character, maybe a little bit more personal with the character, a little bit more involved, better animations, maybe more of the style of like a Spider-Man-esque, that graphic style of game. But for it to be an MMO, I think that would be super dope. Let me make a character, let me choose my abilities and kind of go from there. And Marvel did have that MMO that got shut down, but that's because it wasn't as good as DCUO. It would have never been that, right? That's one of the problems where it's just like, you can't be a competitor, look at your competitor and say, oh, we're gonna do something different, and it's not as good as what your competitor is making. It just doesn't make any sense. That's why the Smash Brothers clones, that's why Multiverses is now falling off really heavily, because at the end of the day, it can be a Smash Brothers clone all it wants, and I want games to be able to take that. I want people to be able to take that and iterate on that experience. But at the end of the day, if you don't do enough or don't offer enough, if the original version is better, people are going to go back to that. So give people some options that will actually get them to stick, or they'll just go back to what they like. So
I'm surprised we haven't gotten a new Marvel MMO, and I'm surprised we haven't got a new Star Wars MMO. I think before the
Star Wars is the Knights of the Old Republic.
Still
that's on PC, and it's still getting content release for it. That's one game that it needs to be updated current, and oh my god, the amount of money that they would make off this fucking
That's
game.
what I'm saying. If they did that right, Steel, I
don't even want
World
of Warcraft. I don't want World of Warcraft unless it's a second game. Right. I do want that Star Wars MMO that we had, because that has a lot of potential for somebody just to go in there, completely remaster the game, get everything looking up to date. Doesn't have to be perfect, but get it looking up to date. People with time sync, easy.
Bring it to console. I think by the end of the generation, we do have that. I think by the end of this, we'll hear something about that, because both those franchises, Marvel and Star Wars, in MMOs are perfect. If you it's set up.
That power fantasy is like we talked about in the Vampire Survivors, in a simple game where they nailed the power fantasy. I have a hard time believing that we can't do that with these other characters. Like I love these superhero games, but the next evolution for me, and that's why I like Gotham Knights the way that I do, although it's not cross-play and everything else, cross-progression, because they're actually doing something that's interesting in that genre. You're allowing me to play with, I can go hit somebody up and be like, hey, come rock with me for a bit. Let's go beat some baddies up. And it'd be a fun experience. It's that power fantasy. We got bills working together. We're synergizing. You give me something where I can make my own character, and I can be Spider-Man, or I could be Wolverine. I could be whoever I want. Bro, that's an automatic game winner. And again, we'll see if that ends up happening.
Yep. And we're going to get a Starfield MMO too. And it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what
you and I are going to be the pirate's life, baby. We're going to go raiding.
Pawn. I'm going to be the guy who's going to be trying to be reasonable. I'm going to be the good cop, and Pawn's going to be the bad cop.
No, it's going to be pirate's life for us, brother. I'm telling you, starship. We're going to go raid.
Pawn's going to be the bad cop. I'm going to be like, hey, I'm just here trying to play the game, and Pawn's going to come out of nowhere. You're going to be like, shut up, fool. Then he's going to kill everybody, and then all of a sudden we're hijacking ships, and people are gonna be after us, and I'm just gonna be like, hey man, I was just along for the ride. Like I got kidnapped in this journey. I don't know what happened. No, I think if we did something like that, that would fucking be hilarious.
It would.
If we just went on a fucking tear and
we got the whole Fun Speculation family as pirates, bro. We'd
be on a fucking tear.
Build a base on a planet. Oh god, go raiding.
That'd be so fucking funny.
It would be.
Guardian Black says, I feel like the MMO genre needs a game to revolutionize kind of how Elden Ring did with the Souls games. You know what's unfortunate about that, Guardian Black, is they are. The problem is a lot of those games right now are currently still in the East. They're in Korea. And the problem with games like Black Desert Online, BDO, that I mentioned, is that it's so not new player friendly, and even though it has become more so, it's still very difficult to get into. And it's a very punishing game that does not respect your time. It doesn't. It literally, the game literally wants you to level up gear and work against yourself.
Right.
You have to have bad karma to level up. Well, not necessarily bad karma, but the way that the system works is like, again, you have to work against yourself to get more stacks, so you have more of a chance for things to pass. It adds this whole other element of, like, you want to talk about a game that can be possibly predatory, or again, it's all options though. But when you have whales that are spending thousands of dollars on this game a month, even more, these are people that I was in clans with, right? I could never do that. But when you have people that are like that, it's hard to compare, man. The only way that you can compare is through skill. But I think that's the next biggest gap that we're going to see, is seeing more of those games from the East come over to the West, to where we can experience them closer to release date. Because that's the other thing too, is you put out these games. That's one of my biggest problems, like Phantasy Star, for an example. Phantasy Star Online 2 put out a whole new version with new Genesis, but didn't carry anything over. But this is supposed to be an extension of that same game. But you updated it and everything. That automatically turned me off as a player who liked Phantasy Star Online 2. I thought New Genesis, I was like, hey, carry everything over, can, kind of continue, the level cap is going to be raised. No, it's not that at all. I got to redo everything. Now you got to wait 6 months to not even get the level where we were at before. It's like, why are we going backwards with games? I don't get that, but that's just me. Let's see here.
Yes, a Marvel Ultimate Alliance Back for Dead definitely needs to come back too.
Ooh,
for a gen.
Yeah,
I'd love to see
a new Marvel Ultimate Alliance would be super dope.
Yep,
they need to make a new one because the MCU is now going into the Secret Wars phase.
Yeah.
So I would love to see an Ultimate Alliance come out around that time, because it would be perfect timing, especially with current gen. That'd be fucking badass.
It would.
Hey, Brad. You asked me when's the last time I played Halo. I saw your comment on Twitter. I played Halo just the other day, man. Hey, and don't ask me when's the last time I played Halo. You know what I do to people who ask me those types of questions? 1v1 me. And I'll tell you the last time I played Halo. How about that? I'm petty when it comes to that. I have an automatic resolution. Let's see here. There was one other thing that I wanted to get into, and I had it lined up, and I don't know why it went away. Was there anything else that you think that you can think of offhand that you want to dive into really quick?
Let me see if there's anything else here. Talked about that. We talked about.
I think I found the one that I was looking
go ahead.
for. Perfect. So this is going to be another one. VGC is just on fire. Shout out to VGC, just being on top
this
of
week.
reporting.
VGC was laying it down.
Also, if you guys don't know, go to Lognet, please. Lords of Gaming. They have a good site also for a lot of the gaming news that is currently going on. So
Absolutely.
Stay on top of
it.
And they're doing the work out there in the street. He's Jigga J says, no 1v1 against you still. You play Halo on PC. I also play with the controller. So
not keyboard and mouse.
Not keyboard and mouse. So I don't know. I mean, again, I have a Series X. I mean, I play on console too. PC is just convenient. At the end of the day, I play with a controller. I mean, we all got the same thing at the end of the day. Controller versus controller. Now what?
Gears, or what are we gonna talk about?
It can be whatever. I don't mind. I'm not picky. You can play whatever. One quick little side tangent. Like, that's just the era that I grew up in, man. Like, we were all competitive with each other. Y'all just motivated each other. Like, it was one of those things to where nowadays, like, people try to like pick on each other. Back then, it was like, when you got smacked on and but you were like a decent dude or whatever the case, people will work with you and be like, hey man, you start doing these little things, you'll get better. And then they work with you on a day-to-day basis. Now, boom, now you got this friend that you never knew that you were going to have, and y'all are playing together. Now y'all just as good as each other. And then that expands out. To me, that's the era of gaming that I grew up in. Same thing with like the whole fighting era. It was competition, man. We always worked to be better than each other. I feel like that that has always been my main motivation for gaming, that constant want to be better. You know what I mean? It's the same thing in life too, right? It should be that constant want to strive to be better that next day. And I try to use that in the same thing when it comes into gaming space, because it's all up to you at the end of the day. No excuses, just you and that controller, right? So, and if you're better, you're better. And I mean, like, because I'm not a smack talker, Pong can tell you. Like, I feel like I get into parties sometimes, the people be just wanting me to talk smack, and it's just like, I don't do that. Like, and no, Jasper, I'm not playing snipers only on Ruts. I'm not doing that. I hate snipers, bro. Like, that was like shit like that was why I hate snipers. I've never been a great sniper. You're gonna fucking mack me.
Nope.
I hate that shit.
Speaking of competition,
what's up?
Gears of War.
Ooh, what about Gears of War?
Coming, Steel. We're finally getting a movie.
Oh man.
And we're getting an animation, Steel. Think about that. Not only are they giving us the long requested and anticipated movie,
right,
live action, but they're also going to do an animated series as well. Adult animated series for one of the best franchises of all time, Steel. At least the original. But one of the best franchises of all time. We're finally going to see Marcus, Coltrane, Dom, Baird, all on the big screen. What do you think, Steel?
Man, let me tell you something. You want somebody who there's nobody who's a bigger Gears fan than I am, man. I'm lying. There probably is a lot of people who are bigger Gears fan. I haven't read the books. Gears is one of those IPs that I haven't dived as deep into, but it is one of the games that I'll give you a perspective on what Gears means to me. And I've mentioned this here before also. Halo and Gears are at the same level for me. There's not one over the other, but if I had to choose one, I'd probably end up choosing Gears, because Gears is what pulled me away from Halo. Gears, that initial trailer, like you guys talked about it on PM and the PM, I believe too.
Yeah.
That initial trailer for Mad World, man. When I watched that with my pops, and just back then, they're like rock music, just like that was just a style of music back then. So it was just like to come from a band that was kind of, because they were known too a little bit at that time or whatever the case. But
it was Gary Jules who did
Gary Jules.
But the original version is Tears for Fears.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's the original, but Gary redid it.
Gotcha.
And honestly, his version is
perfect,
better than Tears. I love Tears for Fears, by the way, old guy here. So, yeah. But Tears for Fears is one of my favorite bands. You go back, but Gary Jules' version is a better version. I really
100%. Especially for that game, that there's just no better feeling than those. Again, I agree with you, Pong. The original trilogy, there is. The follow-up games are not necessarily better, but like I've disagreed with you before, I don't think they're as bad as you kind of labeled them. But I do agree with you. It doesn't hit the same notes, and there was something special about that dude bro shooter that also had those horror elements to it, where there was something about the Krill that added that fear, right? The darkness was the fear. You didn't want to be in the dark for too long. You knew, and it didn't matter where you're inside, outside, it didn't matter. Along with the Locust, it was just different. We never got games, and I still think to this day, I'm sure we have games that have some awesome looking characters and some awesome looking enemies, but I still think there's nothing like that tension you get in a room full of that Locust horde coming at you, different angles, especially when you're on the harder difficulties, man. And then that multiplayer, bro. You want to talk about a game from the campaign to the multiplayer that was just so well put together. And shout out to Cliffy B, although he's kind of become pompous in a lot of ways over the years. He was somebody that I held a lot of. I have a lot of respect for Cliffy because
downfall.
I had a lot of respect for him, but at the same time, it literally was his downfall. And again, I haven't looked enough into Cliffy and what really caused that for him. I just think that he was too high on the high horse.
Oh yeah.
And he felt like he couldn't be touched. And when he found that he could be touched, or that he needed to start changing things within Gears, and he was like, oh, we don't need to do that. That's when he kind of started getting shuffled out the door, and it's unfortunate. Or he just didn't have the same love for it. It happens.
He burned his bridges, Steel.
Yeah, no, he did.
He thought he 100%. Was bigger than the game.
No, he did. 100%. He did.
Yeah.
He thought he was the game. And Cliffy B, unfortunately, man, I appreciate everything that you've done. Again, you have changed the way that I've looked at gaming today. You are a genius. You created one of the greatest games that I've ever played in my life. But my God, what a downfall on that end of things. And again, he's still good. He's all right. No big things. It is what it is. And lady, I agree with you. There's no better feeling than that shotgun. There was the one game that made shotguns feel like they just belong.
There's one game that made people hate shotguns.
That is true. That is true. Gears definitely has that effect. That's the one problem with Gears, why I think it's had
all bounce shotguns.
Yeah.
Oh, people hate it.
And I think that's the one thing that a lot of people are kind of turned off by Gears, although it has become a lot more casual friendly since Gears 3. Gears 4 and 5 have been extremely new player friendly. As far as the Lancer and giving you other options, and strafing has become more of a proper thing versus wall bouncing. People adapt and adjust, and you get people who are better and play well and everything. But Gears, unfortunately, is a game that is going to have and Ham, you only say the Gear shotguns suck because you're not good with them. I'm just gonna tell you straight up. There is no better example. This is the one game. That's the one thing about like Halo, Gears, or certain games that when there's certain things that you complain about, you could tell that you're just not. It's not your style of game. That's okay. But I've played so much Gears. If you're complaining about the shotgun, you're not good with the shotgun. That's okay. The game's not for you. Man, learn how to use the Lancer. A lot of people have. That's the biggest problem with the game now. Game's underbalanced. It's all over the place. The Coalition can't. That's my problem with the Coalition overall currently, is that I want the Coalition to make their game. Sure, you want your community's input and everything, but putting out a game, especially a multiplayer game, and constantly tweaking things can be a turnoff. You're constantly tweaking the Nash, constantly tweaking the Lancer, you're making so many changes, like the game is never in one central place. Hey, this is the game, you play it, you enjoy it, or you don't. Adjust to it or you don't. A lot of games are like that. I just personally think that one of the unfortunate things for Gears, at least, especially with the news of the potential of the movie and the anime, and that will bring some hype into it, and hopefully it brings in more attention from the normies.
Later, Talos. Have a good night, man.
But literally, Gears has come to a point to where it's only for the sweats. It's a hard game to play. It's not a game to just jump in and have fun. Again, this may not be the best example, but I'll use it. So I'm going to jump into community sometimes. When I was jumping into community sometime on Gears, and sometimes when people get on my case talking about like, well, why are you trying so hard in this game? It's just like, that's what I mean. I'm not. I've literally haven't played Gears seriously in a long time. Gears 5 made me fall off of Gears really heavily. Gears 4 towards the end made me fall off of it really heavily. Other games, I've had other experiences. I've gotten older. My time has changed. I can't just sit around and just grind out Gears all day. So things have changed. But there's also a certain level of expectation I go in when I'm playing Gears. And that's the biggest thing that has working against it. But the most fortunate thing is that Gears does have that possibility of really succeeding in transmedia because of the world, because of the characters, because of the enemies. I mean, just the idea of like some beings coming out from the earth, for an example, and that we never knew was there. They just came up one day because shit was going on down there that we were completely irrelevant, that we didn't know about. There was also some other things happening behind the scenes where they were trying to get some help from the humans, and the humans didn't really, kind of fell through on the deal and whatnot. it makes a really interesting story, and I think that would be really dope to see when it comes to life. And I hope they really do well with it, man.
What do you want? Let me ask you this, Steel. What do you want to see out of the movie, and what do you want to see out
of the movie? I just want them. I want them to take their time with it. I'd rather them for the movies. Would rather them take the games one by one. Just go through the games. Do Gears 1, Gears 2, Gears 3, and kind of take that game and break it down however you want to for the movie, right? That's going to make the most sense because, of course, Gears is definitely one of those games where it doesn't necessarily have to be beat for beat, but you have to have a lot of that same kind of thing in there, right? That same tension, those same feels, because that's what's going to reel people in. You think people got reeled in with like a show with like Walking Dead. I think Gears has so much more of a potential, for an example, to really reel people in with the kind of drama and the action that goes on in here. And then as far as the anime is one of those I would definitely want them to go a different direction, maybe go with more of that backstory. That's how you get the Pendulum Wars, what led up to that, what leads into the movies, right? Kind of like what they did with the Animatrix back in the day, where you had your Matrix movies, and then the Animatrix came out again. It kind of gave you essentially gave you the prologue of how all this kind of came to be. I think using it that way would be really dope. Also tying in more characters, because we saw Gears Tactics do that kind of same thing where they focused on before. So you got to see Kate's dad, and that gives you a little bit more of that connection to the characters. And that's the one thing that Gears has done really well, especially in the first 3 games, is making everybody so intrinsically formed with each other that it just creates a whole different experience, right? You always want to see these characters. No one character is more important than the other character. Cole is just as important as Marcus. Marcus is just as important as Baird. Baird is just as important as Dom. And they all kind of go through their own thing. I want to see that really get put to life in the movie. I know a lot of people were saying they wanted Terry Crews to be freaking Coltrane. Please, no. I do not want Terry Crews to be Coltrane. I want, somebody mentioned his name, and I always forget his name when it comes to, but he's the actual voice of Coltrane.
Lester Spite, right?
Yes, Lester like Spite. Yes, that's his name. Yep. Lester Spite needs to be the voice. He needs to be He's literally the size, the voice, everything. He has the energy. Him with Batista, somebody else who's been doing really well. He actually has more acting chops than a lot of people give him credit for. But this is something that he's also passionate about. I think we could get a really good movie. You throw, I saw some people throwing Ryan Reynolds in there, is he as Baird, and then John Berthal as Dom. It's a fucking superstar cast. I know we want some beefy dudes. We want beefy dudes, right? And I feel that, but I also want a well-acted story. But there definitely has to be that kind of in-between.
They have to be the dude bros. John, I think, could pull off Dom. He could build. I don't know about Ryan.
The only reason I say that is because of the emotional storytelling that happens in Gears. Yes. You can't just get some muscle-bound dudes to try to get that come across, because there's only so many people who's going to be able to nail Dom's performance.
Yeah,
that's very
if they're going to go down that storyline.
Oh, they have to. Like, I personally think they have to, because it's one thing to see it in a game. I think it'll be something different to see it in a movie where more people can be exposed to it and see how that hits. So I think that would be a gas moment in a movie theater, right? I think.
I'm just excited for this. I'm actually more excited for the animation than I am actually the anime than I live action. Especially if Batista is going to be Marcus, because I don't like Batista. Sorry, y'all. If you guys like Batista, you like Batista.
He's okay. Yeah.
I just don't, but I understand. I understand why it would happen. He's been self-promoting this for so damn long. He loves the Gear franchise, which I appreciate.
That's the only reason why I kind of give him the flag, because other than that, he's not Marcus to me. He shouldn't be Marcus to me.
Right.
He looks nothing like Marcus, doesn't give me the feeling of Marcus. No. I don't like playing as him in the story. The fact that he's an optional character, like, why? He's not Marcus. He could be a different character, but he's not Marcus. do not make Batista Marcus.
Yeah, but they're
gonna make him. And again, I'm nothing against him, bro. He's not him to me. And again, not saying that they can't do prosthetics and make him look a certain way or whatever. They could, but I think you'd want his look to be in there, like they've done with the game. And again, shout out to him. I know he loves the series. I just don't see him personally.
Yeah, and so that's my only thing. And they have to go. I'm in agreement with you completely. Still, you probably heard me on P. The original trilogy has to be where you start with it. Whether you do 3 movies and you do each one of them, or if you do streamline it down and you get the majority of the trilogy within one movie, whatever the case may be.
No,
you have to set it up that way. You have to set it up with the original crew. You have to, because that's the meat and potatoes of Gears. Like that, again, for people who are too young to remember when Gears launched, it was game changing.
It was genre defining. Yeah, it was.
It was completely different from anything else we played.
No other third person game like
it. When you first saw Gears, right? You got an impression of it, but then the story took it to another level, and people don't appreciate that. It became the ultimate dude bro shooter at the end of the day because of the multiplayer and that kind of stuff. But if you honestly played through the campaigns, it had it all. It had the horror, dark, gritty, gory aspects, but then you had comedy in there with Baird and Train, and Cole. You had the comedy, you had the buddy cop comedy in there, which hit. It was amazing. And then you had the drama, you had the emotional. Again, Dom and Maria's story is one of the few times that I teared up in a video game. Like that it had those emotional beats.
Yeah, that second game.
There's
nothing like that. There's nothing like.
This is why it's one of my GOAT's trilogies. It's one of my GOAT trilogies of all time because of that fact. It hit all notes, Steel.
Yeah.
In Mad World, and we brought this up in Mav. Shout out to Mav. He brought it up first. But he said, listen, Netflix, whatever you do, however you're going to tease this movie, recreate that commercial live action. Get Gary Jules' version of Mad World. Whoever you choose to cast for all the characters, but recreate that original advertisement, and you will win the internet. You will win everything. You will have so many people hyped if you do Mad World live action. Just do that as one of your teasers. It would be freaking incredible. Again, my kid to this day, now 22, he still knows that song by heart because he and I would sit down and watch that trailer over and over and over again. and then we'd play this. Then we play the song. I burned the song onto CD. Yeah, back in the day we used to burn CD.
Yeah,
burn the song. I burned the song on my mixed CD, and he would make me replay it. He'd be sitting in his car seat behind me. He'd be like, "Dad, Mad World, Mad World." And so I put on Mad World, and we just listened to it constantly in the car. People don't know how big an iconic moment that was in video game history. It really was. It was incredible. So for the live action, I agree. They got to do the original. They got to do the trilogy. They've got to bring that back and hit all those notes. That's why I'm more excited for the animation. The anime can go in a lot of different directions.
Right.
As you were talking about, Steel, I'm in total agreement. Like we just saw with Edge Runners in Cyberpunk. It was set during the same time as the game, but they took a whole different look at something that was happening outside of what V and your character are going through in Cyberpunk. They took it a whole nother direction. Look how big it was. Yep. I don't have the utmost faith in Netflix and their live action. They have hits and misses. They're a lot like Platinum Games nowadays. You either get something really, really good, or you can get something not so good. But I do have faith in their animation. They hit on their anime most of the time over there at Netflix. Again, they went out and got Trigger to do Edge Runners, which was perfect. So if they're going to put that much effort into the Gears and find an anime, I don't know if they're doing it in, because I believe Netflix now has their own internal animation studio, correct?
That I'm not 100% sure about. I know they do have one at least.
Yeah, one at least. But if they go out, I don't know if they're going to go outside or if they're going to stay internal on this one. But I do have faith that they could create a brand new expansion to the Gears universe that we haven't seen. And since they are partnering with the Coalition and they are going to have the coalition involved in this, as confirmed by tweets out there. If that's the case, then that opens up even more opportunities down the road for coalition Steel. If this animation, if they take it in a different direction, they talk about a different time frame or whatever, they set everything up, coalition then could do a game based upon the animation and give us a different part of the universe. Obviously, after Gears 6, I know everybody wants, but after they get done with that, then they have the opportunity that's already created by this animation to animate to bring up something else within the Gears universe and create a whole new game, like we saw kind of like Hivebusters when they themselves broke away and they did Hivebusters and brought us a different perspective as well with Hivebusters. I think the Gears universe is as big as the Halo universe when it comes down to lore, and I think you really could deep dive this and create something. It's close. It's close.
It's definitely expansive. It's definitely expansive. I don't know. Halo's like, I mean, because then you're dealing with space and a lot of that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Anyway, Halo is like a whole, you know,
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I just think that they could really expand this out. And I think this is great. This has been a long time coming, been waiting for this. This should have been done all years and years and years.
No, they've been talking about it for a long time, man. And again, I mean, timing definitely has to be right. Because the other thing too, you can't skimp all this, right? This is going to be one where the CGI is going to be noticeable if it's off. They're gonna have to do a lot of cosmetics on this, costumes, whatever the case. Like Blue Moon FC asked, who you got for General Rom? That's the thing. Anybody could be General Rom, honestly, because if you, as long as you give General Rom a good costume and the character, whoever, it could be some guy off the street, as long as he can make it feel like it's a presence. Because General Rom doesn't talk much. He's just about that action. Like from the very first moment when you see him, when he grabs Kim by the throat, you're like, bro, this man is the realest guy I've ever seen in my life. Like, and then the way that Marcus reacts to the entire situation, and the way that he drops him on the floor, you're like, bro, this game is fucking insane. This is crazy. And you have to bring those feels back, but that's what makes it unique, right? Because it's more so you have your cast of characters, you have other people that can come around. You don't need a huge cast like other shows might. But you can focus on this, make sure you got good characters, make sure you're telling a good story. And again, you don't
special
have
effects are going to be everything.
Yeah, special effects, the Brumach.
Because this is going to be obviously this is going to be like horror level type gore here. Because you got to have the chainsaws, you got to have the blowing off of limbs and heads.
It has to be grim.
It's gonna be gory as all hell. So that's gonna be a key part of all.
Tons of blood when you close the manholes or the locust holes, and they're trying to climb out, and the grenade blows up and they fly into pieces and blood's everywhere, and the explosion of concrete. Like Gears was doing a lot of things early on the 360 era that I just was not expecting, bro. That's what set Unreal on fire. I mean, before that, it was really getting into it. But Lord Jasper says Josh Brolin is General Rom. I mean, he could do it. I mean, he's made a big enough presence with like Thanos, but you don't have to pay that big of a budget for that, right? Because he doesn't talk like that. Because you could get some. That's one of them characters. Literally, you can get a bigger dude for. Give him some classes.
It's just like Darth Vader. It's just like Darth Vader.
Yeah, exactly.
You had somebody play as the actual actor playing Darth Vader, but then you brought in, obviously James Earl Jones as the voice, right? It does, like you said, Steel, with the costume, it really doesn't matter so much with General Ram. Just General Ram's got to be there.
Yeah, he definitely has to be there, at least in the beginning. Because again, one way that I am waiting for Gears to get to is who's the king? There's a queen. Usually when there's a queen, there's a king. I mean, not in all systems.
Unless she killed them off.
Unless she killed them off, that could be a possibility. But again, from what we understand about the game, we know it could. That's not necessarily the case. But again, it does open that question, though, right? Usually, when you bring up queens, there's a king somewhere,
right?
Or maybe there will be at some. I think that would be dope if that's how they tie it in with the sixth game. Kate, for some reason, now this king comes out. He's tired of all this shit. He thought we were going to take over the surface world, and now, boom, something gets tied in with Kate where she's like, oh, I got somebody else that's really talking to me, trying to pull me into the web, and I think that'd be. But we'll see. It will be a good chance for them to really go grim too, because the king could be that I don't play. Really given that experience that we had initially with like General Rom and also the Berserker, right? Yes. The Berserker was another one of those things that really, and I feel like that should be in the movie too, because that was a presence in game.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember a feeling like that in a while, where it's just like
frantic.
Yeah, you're trying to get the hammer of dawn to land on her. She's running towards you, like what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
game was amazing. I think it was amazing.
Oh, I can't wait to see the hammer of dawn too. Oh my god,
it's gonna be one
of the greatest weapons of all time.
It's gonna be so bomb. The fact that I can get a gun that calls a laser down from the sky is amazing.
Yep.
Lady Foxfire.
Akira.
Yeah, exactly. Lady Foxfire says, I don't even like gore and horror like that, but Gears is on another. Because it leans so much in that fantasy element of it, where it's just like you can't take it serious. Because I'm like that too. I get squirmish sometimes with like blood, and like I can't watch people just fucking cut themselves, and like Saw is a hard movie for me to watch. It's like I feel like I'm getting that. Like when that dude was cutting himself with the saw, bro, I was like, I'm feeling my own leg, and I don't like that feeling. That's why I don't watch those movies. So it's not necessarily about it being scary, because it's never that, but it's more so it's that the same thing with scary games. It's more so the feeling that it gives me. It's like that tension. I don't know if I want, but either way, I do agree with you. Gears is definitely on the whole. And Lord Master Jasper says, Queen like an ant, Queen, they have no kings, locusts are more like bugs. Yeah, 100%. And that could necessarily be the case. But I've always fantasized about there being some king and him being really bringing that horror element back, right? Bringing the Krill back, bringing everything. Like he's just this ominous force that comes over and is like, look, I thought the Queen had it. I was taking care of some other things, resting, I was sleeping, and he wakes up and he's like, all right, I'm tired of this shit. Blows up the fucking world. I don't know. That'll be awesome.
Jacob asks if I think that they'll get Harrison Ford to do the voice of Dr. Jones in Indiana Jones game or someone else. Someone else. I think they go somewhere else.
I think they should go somewhere else because, again, Indiana Jones is so far removed. And again, people like me and you, Pong, are going to remember Harrison Ford and what he means to Indy. But I'll have to be honest with you guys. It's just like Lara Croft. Things have to move on. Like somebody else can do that.
Like what, 80?
Yeah, he's not.
I mean, again, he's not going to be around. You can't set yourself up for that for future games. You got to have a new,
like Splinter Cell, right? They say the same kind of thing. It's like,
and I agree. To me, Indiana Jones will always be Harrison Ford. I agree with him when he says, "I am Indiana Jones." At this point, I can't see somebody else playing him. Eventually, somebody will. Right. But from as far as voice for a video game, you start with somebody younger. You start with somebody that you know is going to be around for future.
Yeah, especially with them trying to revitalize Indy, and I know Harrison has a movie come out. This is honestly, guys, this is probably going to be his last movie. But with that,
especially if Harrison keeps drinking and flying.
Yeah, man.
I love Harrison, but he's got some demons, man. He's got some demons.
It's just like Bruce Willis, man. It's like, bro. It's sad. It's sad to see him in the condition that he's in currently too. I mean, but it's like it's just crazy to see those types of things happen. These iconic characters that we have, you want them to keep comprising their roles because they do mean a lot and they have done so much for our industry, man. But then on the flip side of it, it's like you do have to move on, man.
We're getting old, Steel.
Gotta move on. It's
people we grew up with are getting older. That's how it works.
Yeah, especially when we got people dying young. Like,
yep.
Bro, it's just it's crazy. It's crazy. I think at this point, we'll go ahead and start winding the show down. We're about to hit that 3-hour mark. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we want to cut it a little bit short. So Pong's equipment can have some time to cool down and whatnot, so he can have a good time on Go Live. That is something that we are currently working on in the background. We're trying to make some plays on, man. So hey, if you see any free contests or anything but honestly, it's something that we just got to take in consideration. Real life is always going to happen. And I don't care how anybody feels about that. You can say, oh, just go do this. It's not that simple. If it's that simple for you, just go ahead and send me $2,000 and I'll be all right.
Simple, I would do too.
Yeah, if it was literally like that, that's why everybody's life is different. That's why you can never be super judgmental on everybody's lifestyle, and what they're going through. Everybody's going through things in their own manner. The fact that I still got Pong rocking with me still here, is a blessing in itself. I'm highly appreciative. The fact that the equipment is allowing to, it to happen is a blessing. And we'll continue to rock out for as long as we can. And even if we can't, man, I'll continue to hold it down. But we'll figure some things out. No worries. But that is something we are working on in the background. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed yourself today. We will get into this day in gaming. So I wasn't able to do it last week, since we had like a 5-hour show last week. We wanted to get the people up out of here, but I do want to give it to you guys this week again, because gaming is art and should be treated as such. And not only that, if there's one thing that Vampire Survivors again has made me recognize, and this is what I love about gaming, is that sometimes a game can just come out and just be a good game.
Yep.
And I think that's what's important.
Shout out to Joe Dunmore, who said that he started it up and we were right. He can't stop playing.
Yep.
Yep.
Telling you, man, it's good. It's good stuff. Again, a good game is a good game. You make a good game, they will come. Shout out to Strauss, and also shout out to Everborn for the gaming is art and should be treated as such. But that's exactly why we do this day in gaming, where we go 30 years back in history and just kind of give you that something you can reminisce on and have a good time with. All right. So as I get that set up here, there we go. I can over a little bit. That right there. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So this day in gaming. Let me write one more thing down here. And audio listeners, look, and again, even if you're live also, please, ladies and gentlemen, if you can, if you haven't visited us on the audio platforms like Spotify, Anchor, Apple, definitely check us out. If you can, leave us a review. It just helps people see our show. We've gotten some consistency on the Anchor side of things, and it seems like people are really tuning in. But definitely leave us a review. Let us know how you're feeling. It just helps out with the show. Comment down below, like the show on YouTube. That helps out with the algorithms also. And again, we are working on just distributing out more content. I'm going to see about doing some things a little bit differently. It's going to add a little bit more work on my end, but I do think it's going to help us in the long run. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to try, see what happens. Consistency is key, right? So see what happens. But nonetheless, November 12th in this day in gaming. We're starting in 2001 this year, guys. We're not going too far back, which just means there wasn't too many things released that far back on this day in gaming, but we're starting off in 2001 on PC. We had Empire Earth. Not familiar with that game. PlayStation 2, we had Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. A game that a lot of people love. Again, I didn't get into Metal Gear like that until Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and I thought that was a really good game. A lot of people don't like it. I thought it was good. I do think that the entire Metal Gear series should be remade, and it should come out soon. Just because there's a lot of content there. Whether you like Kojima or not, I like the way those games play. I like the way Phantom Pain played, and I would like to see what those other games would look like in that same style. I probably would jump into them. Then in 2002, GameCube got Resident Evil 0. Shout out to the GameCube, man. What a slept on. It's probably the most underrated console, I feel like. Nintendo did. I think Nintendo did. That was like the last time they were truly competitive in this space, I feel like. Then in 2004, Game Boy Advance released Metal Slug Advance. Shout out to Metal Slug. That's one of my favorite arcade games of all time. I was still rocking to some Metal Slug. Like, if somebody asked me, like, yo, Steel, let's play some Metal Slug, I'm like, all right, let's do it. Let's see how far we can get. And I can play. That's another one of those highly addictive, can really get you into it. Kind of like Gunstar Heroes back in the, that's another one of mine that I like. That's another one that when I play Vampire Survivors, that gives me those memories, right? Just, oh my God, I love those. Oh man. Never got experience with Neo Geo, but I've heard something. I can imagine, hell yeah. Empire Earth, one of those forgotten RTS. Gotcha. Yeah, well, I mean, it's like you got Empire Earth, you got Command and Conquer, and then you got StarCraft. Which one are you playing? You're probably playing StarCraft, Warcraft, but you had options here. Age of Empires, Command & Conquer. Yeah. Let's see. I almost lost my place here. 2007, the DS got Ultimate Mortal Kombat. Shout out to the DS. That was a generation Nintendo was super greedy. Fucking 2DS, 3DS, 3DS XL. Like, dude, what are we doing? 2007, great. 2009, we move into the PSP, another unsung hero here. They released Xyz Force in Japan, and then also Lunar Silver Star Harmony. Shout out to the PSP, one of the greatest handhelds ever made. One of the greatest handhelds ever made. Swear to God. I didn't get to try the Vita, so I always give credit to the PSP because I think it did something for the industry. It just was too far at the time. Especially for what we were getting. Imagine the clauses we would get now if they were still making. But it would literally be a Nintendo Switch competitor though. If you can play console style games directly on a Vita, which is actually what they were doing, but they were designed for that too. And the Switch wasn't able to, might give a bigger story there. Give something for Nintendo to kind of bark back at. Then in 2010, Xbox 360 released Two Worlds 2. Not familiar with that one. Then in 2011, Two Worlds. Reality Pump is the developer, or publisher South Peak Games. Okay, nice. Nice. Then in 2011, on the Wii, you got Poke Park 2, Wonders Beyond. I'd assume that has something to do with something Pokemon. That's what it sounds like, but maybe. Yeah, it did have to do with Pokemon. Of course it did. Then in 2012, one of the greatest Call of Duties that have released, that's going to be Call of Duty Black Ops 2, got released in PC. Black Ops! I love Black Ops, man. That transition from going from Modern Warfare and then Black Ops, man. Prime. Both studios were in their prime, bro. I don't think Treyarch hasn't made another good game since Black Ops 2. My personal opinion. 2013, and by the way, Infinity Ward will always be better. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. PlayStation 4 released in 2013 Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Shout out to Black Flag, good game. I did like the character. PlayStation 4 also got Battlefield 4, great game. Another one of those where EA just didn't learn their lesson, but ended up being a good game in the long run. Said if Pong was talking, we couldn't hear him. Talking our for me real quick, Pong. Oh wow, yeah, Pong was talking, and I don't know why the settings didn't carry over, but the people didn't hear you.
Yeah, because Steel doesn't want me talking during the segment.
That's what it was.
Just keep going.
People were saying he was making some excellent comments about this. What's up, 3-Bit? How are you feeling, man?
Hey, 3-Bit, look at you, you little twat. You started off my day yesterday very badly. You chose violence. I don't know if you were watching Xbox Ultimate last night or not.
He probably was.
I got beef, 3-Bit. You and I got 3-Bit. We're gonna 1v1 later.
Throw some hands.
Yeah.
Then in 2013, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One got NBA 2K14. Got the 2K14.
Shout
Good
out
game.
2Ks.
Yep. PlayStation 4 also got Warframe in 2013. Out to Warframe. Been out for a long time, and again, I don't think they would be at where they're at right now without Tencent, but unfortunately, is what it is.
Bellantone Skyrim was 11/11. This is just this day in gaming, so it's 11/12. So yeah, Skyrim was yesterday. Skyrim's anniversary, 11th anniversary was yesterday.
And shout out to Skyrim.
11/11/11.
Hey, apparently Skyrim and God, why did I just go blank right there? That's fucking terrible. Skyrim and Starfield are the exact same game. By the way.
Oh yeah, no. I don't know who was. I still don't know who was saying that. There was one dude who wrote an article that he was scared that it was going to be just like Skyrim, and I'm like, so you're scared it's going to be a generational type game? Okay, whatever. And I'm like, and if you watched any of the videos from Starfield, how did you not know it's not going to be just a reskin of Skyrim? Again, these people, these journalists make no sense, dude.
Yeah, I don't get it. Guardian Black also says that excuse me.
Whoa.
Was not saying that.
Wow.
Flag, excuse me. That Black Flag game, bro. Damn shame that we can't just get a regular pirate game story.
It's been a great last episode of Living Splitscreen, everybody.
Can't be anything revenge finding treasure booby soft. Yeah, Black Flag definitely had a lot more that they could have done with that. Again, I think that's what we were expecting out of that new game that Ubisoft has coming out. What's the pirate game called?
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones, thank you. That Skull and Bones has dropping. We were expecting for it to be like that, but it didn't end up being that way. Shout out to Guardian Black. Set me up. Oh man. Okay. Well, I know. No, hopefully nobody took offense to that, and if you did, I do apologize.
Your tongue there, Steel.
Yeah, that was a little rough.
Nobody can take offense to just a
that was literally an honest mistake. You never know sometimes, though. So I want to make sure the people know. Anyway, then it says 13. I'm gonna put that on Twitter. That was hilarious.
Dunmore, Joe, we can't change this week in gaming. You know how long that would take?
Yeah,
we literally would have 6-hour shows at that point.
Yeah, nah. I literally do this day in gaming because it is a little bit. It is an easier list to get through. Not only that, but it also just gives you a specific date in mind, right? Because this day in gaming, it's always going to change because the days don't fall on the same days every year. So that's the other thing that makes it unique and why I do that. And you can say the same thing about the weeks too. But I'd rather do it. I'd do it for the day. I think that's more special. And we've gotten a lot of actually really dope games on our Saturdays for this day in gaming too, which is kind of crazy, right? So, play Superliminal, especially if you like Portal games. I never played Portal, never got into it. But anyway. Then the Xbox 360 released, and this is part of the reason why Mav and Pong do have their hype that they do for Midnight Suns. XCOM Enemy Within released on the Xbox 360 in 2013.
Yes, sir. For Access, masters of that style.
Then in 2015, the 3DS released Project X Zone 2 in Japan.
Okay.
All right. Then in 2019, I guess is why you were bringing it up, PC released Superliminal. Not to show Superliminal. Then in 2020, one of the greatest games people say has ever released, on the PlayStation 5, they got Astro's Playroom. Nice. Then the PlayStation 5 also got Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, although I think that also released on both consoles.
Might have been different days, though.
Could have been different days. When these come up, it's so weird to me, man, because it's like, I thought that released the same time, but who knows? Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales on PlayStation 4. Then on PlayStation 5, you got the No Man's Sky update. Looks like November 12th, 2020. You also got the PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
Shout out to PlayStation 5, the anniversary.
And you got Sackboy's A Big Adventure. So, I mean, honestly, guys, you can't complain with something like that. You see the PlayStation 5, same day, you get the No Man's Sky update, Sackboy, Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales on PlayStation 4, Devil May Cry Special Edition, Astro. I got a good select games to play. So if you had a good time, then shout it out in chat. Or shout it out in the comments below. Let us know how you were feeling about 2020, especially November.
Yeah.
And then November 12th, and shout out to the 2-3 year. Is it 3 years?
What?
The consoles have been out? 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
No,
shout out to the 2 year. 2 years the consoles have been out. So that's that. And then November 12th of 2021, we had PlayStation 5 with Battlefield 2042 with no scoreboard and no class system. Shout out to Battlefield 2042.
Juddery turrets in the tanks.
Bro.
All sorts. Do you remember that? trying to aim on the 50 cal.
Yeah, that was like it was completely pointless. It was completely fucking pointless. Why? No reason to fucking get on the 50 cal at that point. Sure. Oh my god. Ladies and gentlemen, that was your This Day in Gaming segment. This is episode 80 of Living Splitscreen. Looks like we're hitting that 3-hour mark right on the nose, so that's perfect to see. Again, if you could please leave us a like on your way out. Leave us a comment below. Again, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. It seems like we got the majority of the votes we're going to get today. Shout out to you guys for doing that. I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Elden Ring did end up winning 51%. God of War was 18%. Other was 18%. And Vampire Survivors was 11% out of 77 votes. The fact that people even voted for that was hilarious.
7 people voted for Vampire Survivor.
I find that I just find that hilarious that that you guys did that. I did it on purpose, and the fact that you guys voted for it was awesome.
Somebody might honestly believe that. There's people already saying it, so why not?
Yeah, why not? And again, no matter what you believe is your God of War, but your game of the year, as long as you enjoyed it, that's what matters. Games are supposed to be, the beauty is supposed to be in the eye of the beholder, and what you enjoy is always going to be different from a lot of people, and you're going to also have a lot of people to relate with. But nonetheless, please leave us a like, leave us a comment. Again, on the audio side of things, give us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Do we suck? Are we trash? Does my voice sound scratchy? I like to add inflection in my voice and in my tones a lot because I feel like it adds to the show. I know some people might offer you something similar. I don't feel like it's as organic, but nonetheless, I just do this naturally. I just can do this out of bed. So as I get better with it, you can only expect to hear and see more great things. But with that being said, I still reign I. The T is a 7, literally everywhere. Google, you'll find me. I mainly reside on Twitter. PC is another main place that I reside, but my Xbox is always right there. Hit me up in the DMs, hit me up in the messages. Let me know if you're trying to get some gaming in. Let me know if you want to chop it up, have a conversation. Again, I'm not one of these people that'll run and hide from you, not ever answer a message from you. Hit me up. Guaranteed I'll hit you back unless I'm busy, caught up, or whatever the case may be. Always love chopping it up with folks. Always love gaming with folks. And again, if I tell you your boo-boo butt cheeks, please just don't have your feelings hurt. And like Pong says, I just play the game, man. I don't know. With that being said, though, Pong, great show, man. It was again amazing show. We get the time to pass like it's nothing. We had a passionate conversation in the beginning of the show to lead everything. Just speaking on the community and the things that we've been seeing, and some heartfelt moments, which is always special for me. The fact that we just continue to do this on a day-to-day, well, I should say week-to-week basis. Episode 80. It's a crazy thing to think about. The end of season 2 is around the corner. Still some episodes away. Again, we ended season 1 on episode 52. That just means the next one, you guys do the math. So just come to expect greatness from here from Living Splitscreen. But Pong, got to get you some break in. Want you to let the people know where they can find you. Again, definitely appreciate you being here, brother. Another excellent show. Let the people know where they can find you, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's right. Living Splitscreen is in the books. Sorry to cut it short today, folks, but a triple header calls for me to have a small break in between and be able to get food and make sure I get a couple things done and make sure my equipment keeps functioning properly. Nice. So appreciate you all being here, though. Chat, you guys were amazing. Chat was lit today. We were having a lot of good conversations in there.
Love it.
And everything else. So, that's what we love to see here. That means we're talking about stuff that you guys enjoy. And I just love the camaraderie in there too. A lot of you guys out there, as being a part of this community, you guys are friends too, just like Steel and I became friends through this community. And, everybody in the Fun Speculation family for sure. And Bloomstick, everybody. Like, it's crazy just to see people having normal conversations. Saw you guys talking about, football or soccer, right, whatever you want to say in there. Like, that's the cool part about this community. So we appreciate you all dropping in here, sharing a part of your day with us, and hopefully enjoying the content. But Steel and I have nothing but love and respect for every single one of you. You guys know the drill. Pong Soul on Xbox, Pong Soul on Twitter. As always, follow me. I'll follow you back there. Yes, I do have the triple header today. So, like, time-wise, it's all screwed up because, like, it's crazy figuring out the times because their time changed too. But I believe that I will be on Game On Daily. Of course, Go Live is their show. And that should be here in about an hour and 40 minutes or so. 2 p.m. Central Time, I believe, is what time they do go. So let me look that up real quick here. But it's going to be a great show. It's 3 p.m. It might be 3 p.m. It might be 2 hours from now, 2.5 hours from now. Anyways, I will tweet it out as soon as I figure that out for sure. But it's going to be a great show. I don't know if Gaz is back from Bangkok yet, but Gaz is having a party in Thailand. If you guys aren't following him on Twitter,
he's getting to it.
Listen, I'm jealous, bro. The guy's traveling the way that I wanted to travel when I was younger until, get married and have family and all that kind of stuff. And that all changes. But this dude's out there partying in Bangkok. So I don't blame him if he's not back. But today, I'm going to be hanging out with two big hitters on Go Live. So Colt Eastwood and Quest Mode Games are both going to be going on today with me as guests, with Asa at least, if not Gaz as well. And maybe Hargeet Channy might be there as well.
Colt too.
Yeah, that's what I said. Colt.
Oh, okay.
That's what I said. Two heavy hitters, Colt Eastwood and Quest Mode. Nice. So those guys are big YouTubers, so obviously big members of the community. So it's going to be a fun show. Be there today. And then tonight, it's going to be the Shop Podcast as my third and final of the triple header. PTK Blam's channel, of course, Fuzzy Belvedere, myself. I don't know if we're having a guest tonight yet or not, but please be there. It is 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central Time now because of the time change, because PTK is in Arizona, so his time doesn't change. So that makes things complicated. But anyways, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central Time, this Shop Podcast tonight. And then, of course, back next week. Don't know. Again, never know for sure if I'm going to pop up on Xbox Factor podcast over on Double Barrel Gaming, Mr. Boomstick, but it's all good things green every Tuesday. You got to be there no matter what. 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Thursday nights, it's over on Fun Speculations channel, 4 p.m. in the p.m., Pong and Mav in the p.m., where I get to be the host and I get to dictate what we talk about. We just BS like Steel and I do here, but whatever. We have a great time every Thursday night, PM in the PM, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time, and then back on Fun Speculations channel for Xbox Ultimate. We may be changing the times permanently to an hour later. We started an hour late last night, so keep your eyes and ears open for that. Mav will be tweeting that out, whatever he decides we're going to do. But every Friday night, it's Xbox Ultimate at some point. It's a great time. Steel was on with us last night. We had a blast. So always join us there. And then back here next week, of course, to do this all over again, probably with a longer show next week. We'll see what happens next week. Probably see a longer show for Living Splitscreen with my brother from another Steel Rain. No better place to start your Saturday mornings than right here, because we are your Saturday morning cartoons for video games. That's what we are. Anyways, it is the golden age of gaming, people. Get out there. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Play what you love. Love what you play. I'm sure I'll be seeing some of you in the chats, whether this afternoon or this evening. Can't wait to see you all. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk all real soon. Heel, get us out of here, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful people, hopefully you have an excellent rest of your day. Y'all stay safe, take care of each other, and let us have a good rest of your weekend, man. Much love. Peace.